Hey, this is David Hayter. You may know me as the screenwriter of films like X-Men, X-Men 2, and Watchmen, but you probably know me best as the voice of Solid Snake from Metal Gear Solid. And you're listening to Hawaii's #1 podcast, the Casanova Podcast. Kept you waiting, huh?
All right, and welcome everyone to another episode of Hawaii's #1 podcast, the Casanova Podcast. I am your host, Mikhail Casanova, and I've got the honor and privilege of having the one, the only Backyardis on the show. How's it going, man? Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Thank you. Good to be with you. My name's Jim, Backyardis, Twitch streamer, somewhat of a YouTuber, not really. That's it. That's me.
How you doing, mate? It's all lies. He is a YouTuber.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, where can people find you on social media? Go ahead and plug everywhere you're at.
All right, here we go. So I just changed my name back to Backyardis from Backyardis TV. So guess what? It's everywhere. So Twitch is Backyardis, YouTube is Backyardis, Discord is Backyardis, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook is Backyardis TV. So decipher all that. Pretty much the main things are Backyardis now. So.
That response you had to like Facebook,
you know when you sort of set it up because hey, you might find somebody over there. Yeah, let's do a Facebook page.
I don't. Okay, so like I have a Facebook page as well, and do you feel like it's a cumbersome interface trying to do anything or find anything on the Facebook, like having a Facebook page?
So I jumped on Facebook when it first came out, I think, 2006, 2007, right?
Yeah.
And it was pretty good because coming from MySpace at the time, and it was a lot easier to use. And then a few years later, all the security concerns and all that stuff, I was like, nah, I got rid of it. And only last year, I think it was, when I thought I'd better make a page for the stream. And it's as if maybe if you came along with the journey that you'd know what you're looking at, but if you just go in fresh, it's everywhere. I have no idea what I'm doing. So I use it. It's really bad.
Yeah, I feel like, okay, notifications, especially if you use the mobile app, notifications are absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
If people message you, it doesn't give you a notification that you have any messages from people at all. I had some that were sitting there for months and people were like, oh, are you just ignoring me? And I'm like, no, I had no idea you sent me a message. I didn't even know I could get messages on this.
There you go.
And then it's like when it comes to posts, see, there you go. The cats are running. I hear them. I don't know if you can hear them.
I can't hear them. Not yet. No.
So when it comes to posts, the other thing I kind of noticed about Facebook, which it didn't have back in the day, like 2006, 2007, even up to, I want to say 2016, if I'm being generous, it didn't have the issue. It didn't have the issue where like when you made a post that you weren't able to get some type of reach with it. Like you can make a post and then people would see it, but now it's like the first thing they'll offer as soon as you make a post, hey, do you want to boost it? You can pay this much, because it's like if you don't pay, they're not going to push it at all.
And isn't it? This is the problem with the whole social media stuff. I think Twitter does something like that with the algorithm, right? At some point, and I get why to a degree. Like obviously there's a business side, but some people follow thousands and thousands of people, right? Mm-hmm. And so if they're reading everything from all of those people, it's impossible. So you got to filter it somehow. And I don't know how. I mean, obviously they use the algorithm, but it also defeats the purpose when you're someone like me, especially on YouTube does it. If I subscribe to somebody, I want to see their stuff. And if it doesn't show it, it's really annoying. So what the hell? And then Facebook obviously get around that by saying, yeah, cool. We'll just, if you pay us, we'll share the link that everyone wants to see from you anyway. It's dumb.
Yeah. The one thing I've noticed that YouTube has actually started really heavily in the last year and a half. Like they're heavily pushing. Oh, you can promote your video. Like you can see that little tab, the three dots. You click on it. It's like, oh, you can promote your video, and then you click on it, and then it takes you over to Google AdSense, and then you go over there, and then you have to set up an account, set up your credit card or debit card, and then you have to figure out, oh, where do you want this to go? And it's like,
but then if you've got a video, right? Say this podcast, right?
Yeah.
And then if it gets advertised or if it gets pushed as an ad, people are going to ignore it anyway. Like, I'm not going to sit there and watch an ad. I'll skip that, you know. And if that's the content, now you've paid for it to be promoted. It's sort of, you paid to make it look bad. You know what I mean? So it's like all those ads on. I saw on Twitter last week, I think week before, somebody had paid for an ad for their own Twitter account to get followers or something. And it's like, what are you doing, buddy? That's not going to work. You just wasted your money. But, you know, people do all sorts of crazy stuff, trying to get ahead.
Yeah, I mean, you have people doing that. And then you have the issue with people, you know, okay, this is going into murky waters. I've seen it, though. You had the issue with people paying for followers on social media, paying for likes. You have the people that do view botting on like YouTube and on Twitch. Like, it's so crazy. People like, look, you can't pay your way to success. Like, because someone's going to see it. If you've got X amount of thousands, like, okay, here's a perfect example. I know there's a podcaster I know that has like over 70-some thousand followers, 73,000 followers. And he gets 0 to 1 like or reaction a post.
Yeah, and I'm like, it means they're all fake.
Yeah, you know.
It's the same on Twitch. Like if you've been on Twitch long enough, you get a sense of channel size, chat activity, and what's going on screen, right? Depending on what's going on screen, you may have a quiet thing because people are focusing on what's happening. But for the general gameplay, you know, certain number of viewers, you're going to get a feel for how quick the chat's moving. And it's so many times I've seen, you know, 2,000 viewers. Oh, cool. You jump in, have a look, and there's zero movement at all. It's impossible. It just doesn't happen, right? And everyone can see it. And then, of course, they're the channels that have themselves in follower-only mode, right? So they just sit there and farm the follows while they're sort of faking the view count as it is. So annoying. It used to happen a lot. I used to play Warframe a lot. Have you ever played that one? Anyway, long story.
Warframe.
Okay, I used to. Anyway, we're not going to go down that rabbit hole. But
it's a deep one.
Yeah, it'll just park down. I used to play it a lot, and that directory was full of view botters. And it was very easy in that directory for people to view bot and then snowball, because everyone was pushing for Warframe partnership. So a lot of people were sitting there jumping in, view botting to get a certain amount of viewers. Then they'd apply for partnership. Some would get it, some wouldn't. And there were a whole bunch of people that were in that program that were, I know for a fact, some of them had actually told me that they view botted. And it's like, I don't know why. And now that program sort of dissolved, you see it, they're all, you know, a lot of them have nothing because it was all fake. It wasn't a real community. And that's the key, right? If you're not growing something organic, then you've got nothing at the end of the day, right?
Yeah. And, you know, and that's just one of the things that, you know, even with my own community and other creators, and again, we can jump into the murky waters of that, but like other creators I've worked with, especially when it comes to like YouTube, because I started off on YouTube before I switched. I actually just jumped to Twitch as of 5 months ago, just because on YouTube, algorithm changed to where there's, I forgot, either it was one of the Paul brothers or something happened where when you stream, you were just automatically getting demonetized and you had to do a manual claim. So I know I was getting it, a bunch of other people were getting it, and the bulk of my revenue on YouTube was from streaming. Yeah. So it's like, okay, I can't keep that up. So I switched over to Twitch. Yeah. And so far that I've been on Twitch, I absolutely love it. I just wish more of my audience would come over. But with creators that I worked with on YouTube, like a lot of them, it would either be like a situation where they'd be like, "Oh, let's do follow for follow," or let me go to this site and I can buy some views. I can, I'll get so many thousands of views, but I'm over here looking like, yeah, but people can look at your average and see that doesn't add up. And one of the, like, I know I put up a video on Twitter the other day where I was talking about why people shouldn't do follow for follow, because it doesn't give you organic growth. It doesn't help you. Yeah. And I got a lot of angry DMs. People like, "Oh, you're targeting me. You're talking about me." I'm like, no, I'm just saying in general, because it doesn't do anything.
I like how they out themselves to you, like, "Oh, you're targeting me. Oh, is that what you're doing? I wasn't, but is that what you're doing? Right. Maybe you should look at this." It doesn't build an audience. And it doesn't help you with, people think that Twitch is stupid, right? And look, they make a lot of stupid moves, but they're not dumb. They can see all the metrics that we can see. And there's so many sites out there that you can see all the data broken down. People just look at their Twitch dashboard and think that's it. But there are so many sites that will break down all your metrics over, viewers over time, chat over time, blah, 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 chat for viewer, all those ratios it's all there. And that's what's available through, these stat sites that just track the surface level. Obviously Twitch have more data, whether they share, I don't know if they share all of it, but that's where they're getting it from. So Twitch has all this data. So when you apply for partnership and then, you've got 100,000 followers, but you have 3 viewers, I mean, they know something's up, right? They're not stupid. They can see, and they can go back and see what happened and why. And now they don't, so follow for follow doesn't work, doesn't do anything. Having a bunch of, I've got 31,000 followers, but on any given stream, I've got 115, 120 people popping in, on an average across the stream. So having 31,000 followers doesn't do anything for me. It doesn't help. It's not something, that doesn't help at all. If that was 200,000, what would be the difference? It's who turns up and who's chatting. So a lot of them jump in and they think, if I just get these sort of milestones, then I can get partnership and then away I go. But it doesn't work that way.
Yeah, and one of the other things too, I've noticed with a lot of people who are hopping on a Twitch, I've seen a lot of creators out here in Hawaii that are, for whatever reason, especially when it comes to DJs, because a lot of DJs out here are now realizing, oh, I can stream to Twitch. And I'm like, yeah, you could have been doing that. That's been a thing for a while. So their whole thing is they're hopping on Twitch, have no idea what they're doing, and the first thing they're trying to do is push out sub, bits, donate, this and this. And I'm over here like, whoa, build an audience first. Yeah. Figure out what you're doing first, get a sense of identity. But yeah, it's
it's changed a lot. I mean, I started streaming in 2014, started 2014. So I've been at it 6.5 years. And back then there was no, so in my opinion, the whole affiliate thing is going to piss a lot of people off. The whole affiliate thing is a great business decision from Twitch's point of view, but from a creator point of view, it's awful. It makes a false sense of what are the requirements for being an affiliate? You got to stream for 30 days. You got to have 3 people in your chat or 3 average viewers, right? One of them should be yourself. You should always be monitoring your own output in case it freaks out, right? So that's one. So it's 2 people you need to get. So your mum and your best buddy, right? They're watching you. Now you're an affiliate. Okay. And people get that within the first month and then they go, cool. And some people work hard, right? So this is, it's going to sound bad, but like, I'm not trying to put the people who work hard down. I'm not trying to put anyone down, but it's like an easy milestone. And I think my cynical view is that Twitch do it because they know a lot of people will get there. They might get 1 or 2 subs from their friends or whatever. They're never going to hit that $100 threshold to get their payout, right? All that money eventually is forfeit, right? Because they will never get the payout. They'll stop streaming because a lot of them are kids, right? And then Amazon's just making bank, right? All this money is just there for them. So all of these subs that are going, the 1 or 2 subs, the person's never going to get it. And that's why Twitch do it. But it makes a false sense of, like I've been streaming at it. I've got affiliate now. I'm ready to go. Partnership is next. Back in the day, 6.5 years ago, there was no affiliate thing. That's only relatively recent, 2-3 years, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And partnership was this unknown thing. Now it's 75 average viewers. Back then, there was no raids, there was no host, there was nothing. So it was all manual. If you wanted to raid somebody, you had to do it manually. Say, all right, well, this is the site we're going to. Everybody click it. Let's all go to get right. All old school. And there was no path to partnership achievement. At the time, I remember the rumor, because nobody knew hard facts, was that you needed about 300 average viewers to get partner. Now, whether that was ever true or not, I don't know. But that was the rumor going around back 2014, 2015 to say, so partnership was so far out of reach that you never focused it. What you did focus on was building that community, you know. But I've had people, I had somebody DM me and say, this big spiel about, I've just started, I've been streaming for a while and I'm almost at partner and I just need a bit of help to push to partner. So I thought, oh yeah, I'll have a look. So I check his VOD. He's got 3 viewers, right? He's been streaming for like 2 weeks. He just made affiliate a week ago, whatever it was. Well, you know. And then he's already worried about pushing for partnership, but he's got 3 viewers, you know, and that's the mentality. It's like, and then they think that one big host or one raid will get them over the edge. It's like, nah, man. Twitch see that now. At least if you just get raided all the time and that's not organic, they're not your viewers, that discount, you know, they'll remove that from the equation when they go for partnership. So it's changed a lot. You know, obviously it's a lot better now, but there's a few things that give people the wrong direction, I think, you know.
Yeah. I know another streamer out here in Hawaii actually recently got affiliate very, very quickly. And the first thing they're talking about is, I'm going to push for partner. I got these emotes. I need to get X amount of subs. And I'm thinking, like, are you even enjoying this? Is this a hobby? Is this something you're really trying to go all in on? But, you know, because you kind of need to, and this is going to lead into how actually, you know, you and I, you know, for the audience, how we actually came to be. It's like the process of promotion, because the thing is trying to get discovered just off of Twitch alone, the platform alone. Don't try to do that. You need to use other outlets. You need to make YouTube videos. You need to, or make some other type of outlet. You need to Twitter, Instagram, wherever. You need to get eyes on you, letting people know, hey, I'm here. Shift your focus here. Come here. And this method that a lot of people like doing, and you know, and how you and I came to meet and to talk was with a post you made about how people were, you know, the whole lack of understanding how to promote themselves.
Yeah.
And I've run into this so many times, especially on Twitch, where people they'll come to your streams and they'll self-promote themselves. They will go on your posts like you're promoting something you're doing, and then boom, they're self-promoting themselves. And it's just, I don't understand how there's not this little voice in the back of their head saying like, hey, I probably shouldn't go about it this way. You know, because it's very strange. Like there's streamer etiquette, which a lot of people clearly don't understand. And for those of you who are wondering what streamer etiquette is, it's just you're respectful of the streamer. You don't self-promote. If you do talk about your stream, it would be if, you know, the streamer themselves asked, you know, what do you do? But, you know, it's just basically common sense. You know, it's like you wouldn't go into a Walmart and be promoting your business if you're like Kmart. Like it's just certain things you just don't.
I made a video about etiquette on YouTube years ago. It's exactly that, right? But I always equate it to a party. You're having a party, and then this person's over at your house for the party, and then they're sitting there telling everyone, my party's about to start. I'm going to my party. It's like, you just wouldn't do it. If you have to leave, you've got something organized, off you go. You know, you say goodbye and away you go. But you're not going to go to somebody's house and say, oh, my party's about to start. Everyone, let's go. It's just not done because it's rude. And it's just exactly the same thing, you know. We're having a Twitch party at home, right, on our stream, and then these people come in and think, A, it doesn't work. No one that is in your community is going to go, oh, cool, this random text that I see, I'm going to go visit them. It just doesn't work. No one's going to bother. So, and all it does is make you look like a dick.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the thing. And if anything, in my channel, if you do that, you'll get banned. And, you know, I'm never going to raid somebody I've banned, right? So you've just lost a potential down the track, somebody that might host you, raid you, whatever, or might visit you. You've lost a viewer and potentially a host or raid. And it's not even, you know, some people just do blatant self-promotion, right? Yeah. Where they'll say, they just paste their link. And I don't know what they're thinking. Surprisingly, most of them play Fortnite. I don't know if that's a coincidence or what. It's weird. And the weird bit is you'll be playing some other game and then I'll come tell you they're playing Fortnite. It's like, well, why don't you tell people who are playing Fortnite that you're playing Fortnite? You know what I mean? It doesn't even work on a basic level. So you got that. And then you've got all the subtle ones, right? And they're the worst because they think, you know, I've been on the platform for 6.5 years. I've seen all the tricks, right? I've seen them come, I've seen them go, right? Like you said, the follow for follow, the host for host, these bloody Discord communities, they all got shut down because they were, you know, sort of giving benefit for those who hosted. It was a big, all right? I've seen everything. And so people come in and they're all sly about it. You know, like drop an emote. Cool. People drop, there's a big controversy. There's a big thing a couple of months ago, about people getting upset that other streamers were dropping their emotes in their channel. And
I remember that. Yeah.
Right. And that's just that's crazy. If someone is upset that somebody is putting an emote from another streamer in their channel, well, that person who is upset is an idiot. Right. But I've had it where only a couple of weeks ago, actually, somebody was doing that, and they weren't just dropping emotes. It was random. And I thought they'd set up a bot to just drop an emote because it was periodic, you know, like every half an hour. And so I clicked on them. And that was somebody who was in our community, sort of, you know, they'd popped in a few times. And they were live streaming at the time, right? So think about that, right? You're actively streaming.
Yeah.
And instead of focusing on your community or, you know, trying to grow a community or focus on your stream, you're in other people's chats. And I'm sure that, and actually I know they were doing it to multiple because somebody else reached out and told me. They were doing the same thing in multiple people's chat while they're live streaming. So not even while they're offline, they're just dropping this emote. And what's the play here? That somebody's going to click on that emote, go, oh, this person's streaming, and in they go. Clearly that's what they thought. So I messaged them and I said, listen, I see you dropping this emote. I'm happy to drop emotes, but I notice you're streaming. If you're streaming, just focus on your stream. After you stream, you can come back in, drop all the emotes you want. So, sorry, I just wanted to, the response was something like, oh, I'm sorry, I just wanted to make sure that I was active in the chat. Like, what? You know, again, all these excuses. And then after I called them out, sure enough, the whole idea was, I want to be in your chat and support you. Okay, cool. I said, focus on your stream while you're live and don't worry about me, you know? After I called him out, sure enough, gone. Right? So if they wanted to support me, they'd pop in and say hello and all that, but it's all bullshit. It's all bullshit. And then they lie to your face as if you can't see through it. It's like, it's just bullshit. Just go away with that crap, you know?
I like to call people like that. Like the people, okay, so I call it, and this is, my community gives me so much shit for it, but I call people who usually they'll pop up, they'll say probably 2 or 3 things, and then they ghost. You never see them again. I call them quickies. And I'm like, you guys have like 5 minutes. You come in, as soon as they come in, I have a timer that I'm like, I click, and I'm like, all right. Last more than 5 minutes. They'll come in, they'll say something. Usually it has nothing to do with the stream, or like they don't care about the game, or they don't care about the conversation being had. And then boom, right before that 5-minute mark, they're gone. And it's so crazy because I used to be a variety streamer, like when I was on YouTube, and I guess a bit on Twitch, but I kind of decided to focus on just streaming Final Fantasy 14. I love Final Fantasy. I love 14. I love playing. 'Cause the thing is, like, I love the community. I get to play with other people that pop in the stream, play with my own community when I'm raiding dungeons. So I'm enjoying it. And I'll have people that'll come in, I guess some of my older viewers who maybe were from my variety streaming days that prefer that, and they're like, oh, I don't really care for Final Fantasy 14. So they'll try to come in and start like talking about random shit that has nothing to do with the stream, or it could be something controversial, and I'm over here like, I don't like, what are you doing? Like, why are we trying to talk about that?
Yeah.
Or you'll have the people that just pop in just to be like, oh, what game is this? Dipshit. What do you
mean? It's in the title. Look in the damn title. It's been there forever.
Right.
Yeah. I love that one. I had a person the other day on that line on Thursday. So 2 days ago, my last stream for the week. They jumped in and we were talking about the new graphic. No, we were talking about the new Xbox pricing because that just had been released. So we're talking about that, right? So at the start of every stream, I do a just chatting section. I really like that before I jump into my main game. At the moment, Sea of Thieves, we're playing a lot of that. But we do just chatting. It's great. Oh my God. I'm so addicted. It's ridiculous. Anyway, we do it just chatting. It's really good, right? You get to talk about the topics of the day. You have that interaction with the community. You build the community. You know, everyone gets to know each other. Great. And then you get into the gameplay. No worries. We're talking about the Xbox pricing because it's the topic of the day. This guy jumps in and he asked, first time I've ever seen him, he asked, can I teach you some Irish dialect or something? Like, what? Like, how is that related to any, what? And then I click on his name, right? Not following. Last time seen, never. So we've never seen him before. Pops in, first thing they say is that. It's like, that's a quickie right there. Just no, not now, buddy. You know? I generally have it where you can tell after a while you get used, any random sentence, you go, all right. So I just click on the name because I use, I don't know if you use this, it's a really cool little app called Chatty for the chat instead of the Twitch chat. And it's got pretty powerful things. You can click on their name, see all their last history because it logs it all. If they're following, when they followed, and then right next to it's got the little band buttons. So I always click on these people's name and go, right, here we go. And I just wait. My mouse is ready to go. And as soon as they go a little bit too far, bang, there I go. It's a quickie. It's a race to see how quick I can ban them at this point. It's good fun.
Oh, no, I need to utilize that service. Yeah. Like, I feel like a lot of people just, like, I get so much of it. I had one happen actually today, popped in my stream, and first thing they're like, oh, this, they're like, why the hell are you streaming this right now at this time of the day? And I'm like, it's 8 o'clock in the morning, my time. I'm like, aren't you in the East Coast? You're like 6 hours ahead of me. They're like, yeah.
What's the problem? Like,
then they're
what's the time of day got to do with it?
Right? So then they're like, oh, okay. And then nothing. Gone. It blew my mind. I was like, okay. Oh, okay.
I had one on Thursday come in. And I first saw him the day before. They popped in the day before. And like I said, I start the stream in just chatting. So where they're talking about the Xbox stuff and whatever else. He jumps in, play Sea of Thieves. That's what he said. Play Sea of Thieves. And sometimes I just look at the camera, just dead stare into the camera. So all the rest of the community, because they see it and they know me. And I'm just like, I was just looking at everyone else, you know. And then then I ignored it because I'm not a freaking dancing seal, so I'm not gonna play Sea of Thieves. All right, let's go. He told me, so off we go. All right, I ignored it. A couple of seconds later, 30 seconds later, play Sea of Thieves. Just kidding. What the hell? See, I don't know what people think. I don't know. I just don't understand. You know, you're dealing with a person. They're not there for they're not there to dance for you. You know. So play Sea of Thieves. All right, mate, calm down. We'll get to it. Relax. You know, we're in the middle of a discussion. It's all good. We'll get there. Hang on. And then they leave. Like, all right. I don't know. You can't please everyone. I stopped trying to please everyone because you end up, being pulled in all these directions, and then you do things that will get you viewers, and this sort of pushes us forward a bit because you can get viewers that are there for something, but not there for you and the community. And then if that something changes, then then all of that you've built is gone because you didn't build anything genuine, right?
Yeah.
A lot of and this happens a lot around Twitch drop campaigns. You see that a lot where people get massive spikes and they're all excited and everything's great because they get big numbers, and then it goes because the drop campaign's over. All these people, haven't built a real community around it, so people aren't drawn to anything. And then you go from 500, 600 viewers per session down to 40, 20, and you're like, what the hell happened? And that's just something that people need to really focus on when these drop campaigns. Yeah, you want to take advantage of it, but you really have a short window to try and grab somebody and bring him more than the drop. Those drop campaigns, I don't know. I really have a rough time with them because of that sort of. People do all sorts of things to not manipulate it, but maximize it while it's available. And it ends up being quite toxic. From people are coming in only for that, and they're very demanding of it, and so all this, yeah. So I think it's very important for new streamers to really concentrate on that, having a reason for people to come to you, regardless of the game, right? Because if the games change, right, you might get sick of it. They might put out an update that's crap and nobody wants to play it. It may go offline, right? It may be old and just a new one comes out. And if you've built all of this around that one game and you haven't built any community ties, as soon as that game's gone, you're gone, right? And you can't have that, man. So I think a bit of variety is always good to branch out. And when people come in and say, why are you playing Final Fantasy? It's big, well, because if I only do this over here, if that goes, then I've got nothing. So I need to play a bit of this, a bit of that. You got to mix it up a little bit. So, yeah, if anyone's always trying to drive you over here, you say no, give them one of these. That's my opinion.
Well, it's okay. So, like, touching on that, there's multiple things that I want that I'd like to dive into, and so. When I was doing variety content, and this is kind of what pushed me towards Final Fantasy in general, but when I was doing variety content, variety games, I was just streaming this, I streamed that. I had like set days for set games. I was doing that really to placate my audience because I was like, okay, this is what they want to see, and I was doing it where I was streaming. And I know, you're going to be like, mate, what the hell are you doing? I was streaming Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, twice each of those days to play a game to placate that audience. Yeah. And I burnt out so hard because you got to a point where I didn't even want to look at games. I didn't want to play games. Literally everything I did was just, okay, they want to watch this. This is the day I got to play this. This is the day I got to play that. Oh, this is a new trending game. I got to rotate that into it. And I just got to a point where I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore. So I'm just going to play something I enjoy. Yep. And so when I shifted, I got so much backlash. Like my community now is, I'd say, probably half of what it used to be. Because I didn't realize a lot of these people were literally only either there because I was playing a certain game, or actually, no, that was it. It was just because of that. And then when they weren't authentically there for me, and many of them that were like subbing or patrons or something like that, they got this idea in their head that I give you money, so I get to dictate what you play. I get to tell you, this is when you stream. This is the title you stream. You better do this. And like I had I want to say the first month or two into me doing Final Fantasy 14, I had a lot of people like, I don't care for it, but I like you, so I'm going to stick around and I'm going to, we'll just hang out with you. And then those people who didn't like the game they're like, oh man, this story's getting good. But, I'm always chopping it up, having different conversations with them. Yeah. But then I had that strong sect of people that like, I don't like this game, but I'm paying you. You better start streaming this. And then I would slowly give in and be like, okay, I'll stream this on this day. Okay, I'll be there. Never show up.
Yeah.
And so then when it got to that point where people they were like, oh, I want you to stream Bloodstained. I want you to stream Resident Evil. I want you to stream Sekiro. I want you to stream this. And then when I would stream it, no one's there. Right. So I'm like, all right, well, fuck it. I'm just going to stream this because this is what I'm enjoying playing.
Yeah.
And so then it got to a point where this one guy, well, a couple of them, but this is the most prominent one. He would pop up and be like, "Are you going to stream anything else?" Every fucking stream, he would pop up just to say that.
Yeah, so fuck off. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I got to that point where I literally said that. I was like, you know what? I'll play what the fuck I want to play. You can kiss my ass if you don't like it. And so he got so offended. He's like, he sent me this Discord message. When I say it's autobiography, autobiography about how I'm an asshole and, you know, I'm bullying the community to make them, I'm forcing them to watch a game that they're not interested in. And he's like, I gave you all this money. I invested all this money in you. And, you know, you should have been playing this. And, you know, I have, because I'm your, this fucker like to say, oh, I'm your producer. I'm like,
God. No, you're just an asshole, buddy. That's what you are. That's so. I don't even know. I mean, I've had the same thing. Like I said, I used to play Warframe all day long. And, yeah, that was my main game flat out. And I started not enjoying it, so I started pulling away and doing more variety, jumping around. And people would always come in, when are you going to play Warframe? And my standard response was, in 6 minutes. Stay here, 6 minutes time, I'm going to play. I'm never going to play it, right? So you just keep them there for 6 minutes at least, right? So they would stick around. And I still do it today. When am I playing Warframe? 6 minutes. When am I playing Fortnite? In 2 weeks' time. Every fortnight. Things like that. You just mess with people. Pinball is a big one, right? Pinball machines behind me. Oh, when are you going to stream those? I did it. I did stream them, and I've got a couple videos up on YouTube. And the thing is, it takes hours of setup because you got to get, you got cameras you got a camera at the top, camera from the side. You got to move your microphone. It's a big setup. And then people think they want to watch it, and you set it up for an hour and a half, whatever. Then you do your stream. People pop in, go, "Oh, this is cool," and then they get bored because I can't talk to the chat because if I take my eyes off the pinball, you're done. So the chat's sitting there talking amongst themselves, getting bored. The gameplay is okay to watch for a little bit. And every day, oh, when are you going to play that? Oh, you should play that. You should play that. So, no, I can't. There's a reason why I can't. Go watch the YouTube. But people, they get demanding of your time, and you have to have some control. When I talk about doing the variety, I mean, yeah, you can have a variety of games, but you don't want to be known. It's hard to explain. Sort of, you don't want to be that person that is that game. If it's like that's why I did Just Chatting, right? Because people come for that. They come to just hang out. And so the game is, when we play Sea of Thieves at the moment, that's our main. We've only been playing it 2 months, but it's come for Sea of Thieves, but come hang out with us while we do that. And that's what we're playing now, and we're playing it as a main game but it's come to hang out with us. That's the key. That's the draw. And that's why that Just Chatting section at the start really brings that in. And you get a lot of people who hate it because they just want to see the gameplay. And at the end of the day, those people are not there for you. They're not going to be supporting you in a month's time. They're probably going to come, they're going to go. If the game goes, they're gone. You know that. They just told you. Right? So you can't cater to them because you end up, like you say, you end up doing things that you hate and people see it. Makes for terrible content because you're not enjoying yourself. And your mental health's going to shit because you're playing something you absolutely hate just because, you can get a buck out of a few people that way. So it's not worth it,
Yeah. And that's one of the things my friend Gail Level, he told me when I did a podcast with him a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, I saw that one.
He mentioned like, hey, you don't want to put that type of power in the viewer's hands of, oh, what should we stream? You're the creator, you're the streamer. That's your responsibility. It's not theirs because they 90% of the time they don't know what they want. Yeah. So,
I mean, if you get to the point where you have people who will hang out with you no matter what and watch whatever the hell you're playing, that's when you're doing well, right?
Yeah.
Because, like I said, if the game goes, those people will still hang out. After I stopped playing Warframe as a main game, I jumped around a lot. Last year, I did 111 different games. I was keeping track. And each time you jump into a different game, you have your core audience that's going to come with you. You're going to have those people who go, I don't like this, and they're going to leave. Cool. But each time you jump around, you're going to get one or two people who will become that core. And that's what you really need to be focusing on. They're the ones who are there to hang out with you. They're the ones who don't care what you play, right? And so that's who you need to focus on, not the people who start play this, play that. I've seen so many people do it though. You know, they just try something's big right now, and so they just, you know, they're not having a good time, but they have to. They don't.
Yeah.
You know, they have to because they think they have to, and then when that game goes away or they change, they go from 60, 70 viewers down to 2 because you don't have that core. You haven't built that core. You haven't built that connection with people, and that's what's important. You know.
Yeah, and it's you know, it's very important to establish a relationship with your audience. Like if you can, not only have it where, you have the interactions with them on stream, but you can also take it to Discord, or if you have, WhatsApp or wherever you can take and build your community. That helps foster bonds because you'll get those people who will just be with you no matter what. And that's a great feeling to have. You're also going to have those people who just, oh yeah, I'm going to hop in. I'm going to see what's going on. Oh yeah, I'm not interested in boom. Like, especially when it comes to Discord, you'll have more often than not, you'll have a lot of people who are very, very inactive. Yeah. And it's interesting because I've noticed I kind of started implementing this rule because I'm like, okay, I've got X number of people that are always active, and now I've got a large group of people that are inactive. So I enacted a rule where every 30 days, my mods will just go through and say, okay, this person's active, that person's not active. And if the person's not active, they'll just remove them. They'll kick them. They'll ban them. Just so it keeps the server fresh. And then I kind of thought about it. I was like, well, if I want to do Discord partner, I probably do want more people. But I understand the idea of like, I kind of want to keep it to an active core. And the people that would get kicked, the funny thing, they would get angry.
Yeah.
And they would rejoin. And like, oh, why was I kicked out of the group? And I'm like, wait, first off, you joined and never said anything.
Yeah. There's a lot of people on Discord. So you know how Discord works with the emotes, right? Any emotes that you have in your channel, if you join that channel, you can then use those emotes everywhere. So a lot of people jump all these channels to emote farm, right? So if you got cool emotes, that's what they might be doing. They're jumping in your channel. They don't really care about your channel, but they just want the emotes. And then they'll use them wherever else. So that could be one thing. But yeah, Discord is such a powerful tool. I remember when I first started Discord, I'm a Discord partner now. There's this whole controversy. There's a whole thing with the Discord partnership program now, where if you don't maintain a status, and it's not numbers, it's you need to have 200. Make me a liar. 200 unique readers and 50 unique chatters per week. Right? That's the metric. So somebody can be, minimum 200 people reading stuff, clicking on things, into whatever, without commenting, and then at least 50 unique people, typing something, joining a voice call, using a reaction thing. If you don't have that for 8 weeks, you're out of the partner program, right? I don't know what it is to get in, but that is what it is to maintain it. So that only came in a few weeks ago, like 5-6 weeks ago now. And I've been trying to, because I was just underneath. I had like 230 unique readers a week. But I think it was like 49 out of the 50 unique chatters, like one off, come on. So I'm trying to drive more people to do things on the Discord, so screenshot competitions. I'll post a screenshot or whatever, and then we'll give some channel currency to whoever's got the coolest one, whatever, things like that, to drive that interaction. But yeah, Discord is such a powerful tool to build that bond, like you said before, right? Because that's what people, if once they feel connected, then they're going to come back to the stream because they feel like they know me, but they know each other. And it's sort of that community group, as opposed to it all, like me and 100 odd people talking one way, like people are interacting and talking with each other. And once that started happening on Discord, and I could step back a little bit and let them, cool, they're having conversations. I don't need to be part of every single conversation. I was like, sweet, things are going well. So Discord's huge.
You always get that one person that's like a notice me senpai that always wants your attention.
Mm-hmm.
God. So for the last week and a half, I've kind of pulled back from Discord just because stuff going on with the wife and I. We're actually expecting. So
Ooh,
we just got that noise. Not noise. News.
Careful.
Noise and news. We just got that news a couple days ago. So
nice.
well, a week ago. So when I found that out, I pulled back and I'm over here like, okay, I need to start shifting my focus towards the house, her future. So I pull back, and my community, like the mods, the other regular folks, like they talk to each other, they do their own thing. Sometimes I come in, I'm like, I don't know where this conversation starts. I don't know what ends, whatever. I don't need to be here. But I always get this one guy who pops up and he'll be like, "What's up, guys? Hey, Mikhail Castanova, how's it going, man? What's going on?" And he just always tags me. And I'm like, "I'm cool. You need anything?" "Oh no, I just want to say hi."
Yeah. I think there's a few people who don't understand what Discord is. Yes, you're there, but it's not necessarily a one-way conversation.
Yeah.
You know, it's like think of it like doing that on Twitter. You just wouldn't, right?
Yeah.
Hey, how you doing? Like to one person. Like, what? That's what private messages are for if you want to go down that road. But yeah. Some people don't get it. You get different strokes for different folks. I think there's definitely different types of personalities.
Mm-hmm.
And you see that on stream as well, where you have people who are always there, quiet, don't say a word, and then every now and again will pop up, but you see them there every day, right? Every day. And you have those who are just the troublemakers who like stir in the pot, and then you have those who just want the attention. When people would come in, they'll write something, I read it, I'll respond, and then they repeat it, like, and I'll say, "Oh, you didn't answer me." I just did answer you. What are you listening to, buddy? Like, are you even? But they just want that constant, validation. Yeah, okay, I see you, mate. It's all good. Relax, It's different. People are funny like that. There's always a bit of action,
Yeah. and oh God. God. So okay, so how do you, and I'm curious how you deal with this, like the people who go in your Discord just to self-promote themselves?
My Discord doesn't have, like, I don't do, a lot of Discords will do post when you go live type channels and just try and keep it over here. I just don't have it at all because it doesn't work. Nobody's going into those channels and going, "Oh yeah, let me go click." No one does it, right? It doesn't work. B, it's annoying. So I pretty much keep it clean. It's in the rules. I've got it in the rules. I might have to delete one message and I just delete it. None of that crap. I might delete one message a month if someone tries it. But I've got it in the rules, and I swear it's once I set the tone of the Discord, and for the most part, I don't have to. People just follow along. You don't. I think if you just sort of let things slide, then everyone thinks they can do it. But for all those listening, if you try that and think that nobody's going to click on that link, people just don't do it. When you see these spam channels of this person's gone live, this person's gone live, blah, 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 no one goes in there. I've never seen anyone come through and go, "Oh yeah, I saw." It just doesn't happen. So I don't know. For me, at the start, I just didn't want that to be a thing, so I put it in the rules. That was like 4 years ago or whatever. I put it in the rules, and whenever somebody does drop their channel, I just delete it and say nothing about it, and they don't say anything. I don't say anything. They're still there. So I don't know. I guess it's a tone. Do you have that in your channel, in your server?
I used to have it in there, and then I just got rid of it because several reasons I got rid of it. One was I have a lot of people from the gaming industry, so people from Capcom, Bandai Namco, and more that are actually in my Discord. And whenever it used to go off, it tags. I used to have I forgot the name. It's a bot that will just notify everyone when someone's going live, and it just got annoying because we have a few people that just post something every freaking day, or multiple times a day, and it would just go off and off and off, and then I would have people complain to me like, "Yo, this is just, I muted the whole thing." Like I had one person, lady from Capcom, that was in it, and she got so annoyed with the constant notifications. She didn't know how to operate Discord. She started deleting channels. Yeah. She didn't know how to mute it.
You're gone.
So I'm like, wait, the people like, hey, what happened to this channel? I'm like, wait, what? And then I found out, oh yeah, she was going through, and I talked to her. She's like, yeah, it's too much notification. So I was I just got rid of it because I'm like, I don't like, to your point, no one goes in it, no one looks at it. It just it's like having, when you got that phone count like on your phone, and you got you got these notifications. I don't want to look at that.
Yeah. So I've done on my Discord server. I used to tag everyone. I let people know when I go live on Discord because with the amount of my schedule hasn't changed in years, right? And the amount of people who go, "Oh, I didn't realize you were live." The schedule is the same. You've been here for this long. It's not a new schedule. Oh, okay. So I post in Discord. I used to @ everyone when I'd go live, and then I thought that was a bit annoying. So what I did is I give people the option. I made a role called Notify, and they opt into it. So if you've got the Notify tag, I do an @ Notify when I go live, and those people who want the notification because they can't keep time, they get the notification, and everyone else doesn't. And then I only use the @ everyone for very rare occurrences because it's annoying.
Yeah.
So you got to be careful with it.
Yeah.
Powerful tool.
Very, very powerful. Yeah. So one of the other things like I wanted to ask you about is because I've noticed that this has become, I guess, a bit of an industry. And I have a couple of friends that are doing this, that string coaching. What are your thoughts? And we can be honest about it. What are your thoughts on that?
From what I've seen, it's the same handful of tips that get regurgitated time and time again. It's all bullshit, right?
Yeah.
In my opinion, like it's the same tips. There's nothing new. The things that work are these are my tips, right? Go watch your damn VODs. Nobody watches their VODs. They'll sit there and they stream and they do 12 hours, 10, like these crazy amounts of hours of streaming, and they never go back and review the content. Go watch your VODs. If you can watch your VOD and say, yeah, that was somewhat funny, entertaining, whatever, right? If you would watch it, then somebody else would watch it. If it's boring and you're just sitting there playing a video game, no one's going to watch that shit, right? And 90% of Twitch is that. People just sitting there boring and they never know that. They think they're doing great. Go watch your VODs. You'll see. If you can't get through your own VOD because it's boring, nobody else is going to get through it, right?
Yeah.
So that's the number one that nobody does. And then you can also, in the VOD, it tells you everything. It tells you when somebody comes in and they say hello, how long it takes for you to go and say hello back. If you're so focused on the game, somebody says something and you go back 10 minutes later, they're long gone.
Yeah.
Especially if you got if it's going through a chat, people will forgive it because it's moving, But if it's not moving and the last line is hello and you haven't responded in 10 minutes, it's like, oh, what are you doing? You're a gamer, not a streamer. Big difference. But beyond that, I mean, that tip will give you so much insight, beyond the basics of how do you set up OBS, how do you get your audio sounding good, how do you get your camera looking good, all that basic stuff, right? And that there's tutorials for that, and they're all great. But as far as stream coaching, I mean, a lot of it, like whatever made somebody successful isn't going to work for you.
Yeah.
It worked for them. And so beyond the generic, the same old regurgitated stuff that people that you see in all these YouTube videos, beyond that, there's no real insight because it was specific to that situation that helped them. And they may not even be able to pinpoint what it was, So you get all the generic stuff, but all the generic stuff is good and everyone should know that. But beyond it, it's sort of the same old, I don't know. What do you think? Do you reckon it's the same or?
I'm going to piss off my friends that are stream coaches, but being completely honest, let me level with you guys. It's like a Tony Robbins seminar. In my opinion. It's just one of those things you're telling people, I have the secret, and you do this, you'll get success. And the thing is, I've seen, I'm trying to be as careful as I can with this without pissing people off, and I'm not good at not pissing people off, so fuck it. Anyway, you see the same thumbnails, the same information, and it's usually a select handful of people doing the same content. Yeah. And one person does a video, this person does the same video, same talking points, maybe a different order.
Yep.
They jump back and forth. And a lot of these people, because I know a lot of them, friends with half of them, and I see it and I'm like, didn't you do a video about this a couple months ago? Didn't you go do a video about this? You got a video saying, to those who don't, those who say you can't be a full-time streamer, or you're wasting your time if you do this. Like, it's a lot of bait and switch. And I get it. You're selling a service.
Yeah, exactly.
Or, like I've seen some stuff where I look at it and I'm reading it and I'm like, this is shit I could find just by how to do better on Twitch, on Google.
Same stuff, and you can go back from, and it'll be videos that come out today that are regurgitating the stuff that came out 3 years ago. It's the same stuff. The things that work have been the things that work forever, right? Yeah. There's nothing new that you can do today that is, this will do it now. Now we've got the answer. We didn't have it back then. Now we have the answer.
Yeah.
And I mean, the proof's in the pudding. How many these videos get 500,000 views? Yeah. How many 500,000 ninjas are there? There aren't, right? So none of it works, right? So, the best tip and the tip that's it. Go watch your VODs. If you can get your VOD when you go and watch it to be somewhat entertaining to you, someone else is going to like that. But you go watch your VODs, and if you see it boring, you're just sitting there playing a game. There's your answer. If you can't get through your own VOD because it's boring, nobody else is going to watch that shit. And that's what it is, right?
Yeah.
You got to find what is somebody will engage with it, but nobody's going to engage with you sitting there playing a video game. Just no one cares. Unless you're a top tier crazy player, which most people aren't. They're average gamers, right? No one's going to watch. You got nothing to bring if that's all you're doing. You need to do something else. And people always struggle, there's no viewers, so I don't know. I'm just sitting there waiting for a viewer, and then they're waiting passively for the viewer to start the conversation.
Yeah.
So look, I talk about this during that just chatting section of my stream because people ask, and during that time, we don't do self promotion, but if people have questions about streaming, I'll answer, right? But one thing that I tell them is come up with like 5-10 stories in your head that right? If you don't have any stories, make them up, goddammit, But anything. Right, when you first got your dog, when I don't know, whatever, just random stories in your life, and start telling them to nobody. Just repeat them, not ad nauseum, but just have these stories that you can always be talking. And someone will pop in. You're in the middle of a story. There's no other viewer there, but then what the hell are you talking about? And then they might jump in. Cool. Now you got a conversation point. But at least you got something to keep you occupied because people will sit there and they, all the videos will say, commentate the game. I'm walking across the grass. Oh, the grass is green. Just bullshit. Right? And again, that's no one cares about that. But if you have a story about your life, someone might jump in halfway. They'll hear this story. What's this about? So if you've got like 5-10 of those, you can just repeat them nonstop until people turn up. I don't know. It's tough. But yeah, all these if you're paying for this, you shouldn't be paying for it, right?
Yeah.
None of it is, in my opinion, none of it. If you pay money for a coach, you're wasting your money. And put it this way, I figure if you're at that point where you think that paying somebody else and then they're not a ninja or whatever, right? how are they? What's their success for starters? So if you're paying for them, then you're already at the point where you're not focusing on your own content. You're trying to get a fast track, a step. I don't know what you're trying to do, but all that info is all on YouTube for free. The basic stuff, get it, go watch it. It's all there,
Yeah. Because I mean, in the way I look at it too, it's like the money that you're gonna spend on these coaches, these life coaches.
Yeah,
I can't get that idea of Tony Robbins out of my head.
That's a good one, actually.
Like when I look at
if you dial right now, 1995, 3 easy payments, you'll get the whole thing.
Yeah,
money back guarantee.
Because it's like if you the money you're spending, and I'll say this too for anyone who watches this or listens to this, please don't spend money on that, because the money you're spending on a stream coach is money you could be reinvesting into yourself, your brand, your stream, a new logo, a better mic, Fiverr if you need emotes, it could be going into it could be an investment back into yourself. Hell, it could actually go towards paying a bill.
Yeah.
Yep. and it's just crazy. Like, with the amount of stuff that's out there, there's tons upon tons upon tons of tutorials to teach you how to literally be better, like to do better things on Twitch, how to do better on YouTube, literally how to do anything. I threw up, here's an interesting story. Like I threw up a video a couple of days ago on podcasting. I'm doing a tutorial series on how to podcast, because this podcast has been number one Hawaii for 5 years. It's been number one in the Pacific for about 2 to 3 years.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, with my catalog of guests, my, what I've been able to do. Okay, I feel like I have built up, enough of branding of myself to be able to talk about this is some stuff you can do. Have fun. You have your own story. You can talk about if you got pissed drunk at a bar and this crazy situation happened, you could talk about that. If you're like, oh, what mic do I need to go? Do I need to buy, the most $10,000 mic, or can I buy, like, typically for my recordings, I use Rodecaster, but right now, because I'm in my other room, because I love you, wife, I'm using my Blue Yeti.
Yeah.
You can use what you have and just be good. Like, I'm going over that because I keep getting asked these questions, so I made a tutorial. If someone were to be like, I've had people like, oh, I'll pay you. No. Why? You can Google all this. You can look all this stuff up on the internet. And I understand that there's probably a logic for these coaches and these Tony Robbins, that they feel that because there are people who are unwilling to look stuff up, that they're going to be able to go in and take, I don't know if it's take advantage, or maybe
there's a market for it. There is a market for it, right? Yeah. You're right. That's what it is. Yeah. If people aren't willing to do the work, they're going to look for a shortcut. And if you want to sell the shortcut, and the shortcut is, here are all the videos that you should have watched for free on YouTube, right? If that's the shortcut that you're selling, I mean, people will buy anything, right? So, I mean, it depends. And there's another thing I don't want to, we've got to be clear, right? Because there are people who have been streaming for a long time and know all the stuff, right? They know it. And they may have reached a point where they plateau, and then they might need a second opinion. Go, right, here, give me. But I don't think, and if you don't have anyone to do that for you, to say, come and check out my content and tell me what you really think, and help me tweak things, right? If you don't have anyone else, then maybe that's a service that these coaches can do, right? And that's a legitimate service that they could provide. But I think anybody in that position will have other streamer friends who they can reach out to and say, right. But when I'm talking about the regurgitated rubbish, I'm talking about the base entry level. I started streaming yesterday. Give me a coach because we're going to make it. That's the sort of. But I think for those people who have been streaming for a while and they need, they've done it. They know all the base. They know it all, right? They know all that crap. and then they're just not getting anywhere. They might need another perspective, but that most of them will be able to reach out to another friend, streamer. Everyone. It's a networking game at the end of the day, isn't it? So you're gonna have somebody you can reach out to and say, "Listen, man, I need some help here. Just tell me what you think."
Yeah.
But if they don't have that, I suppose that's what those coaches could do for them. Yeah. But there's a lot of information, like you say. You've got something here with the podcast that you can now share that info. But that's niche, right? That's niche to do it for podcasting. It's different to Twitch streaming.
Yeah.
So the info you're going to provide is different, but that's fine. It's when people try and get that specific leg up that they're not going to get from the base level.
Yeah. No, that's very true. It's just I see so many people that just fall into that, like, oh, I need to save up money so I can afford this. I can pay for this program, or I need to buy this book, or I need to do this. And I'm thinking to myself, like, if you would just use Google.
Yeah, it's all and so many people think they're not doing well because their mic isn't good, or they're not doing well because they don't have a $3,000 camera. They're not doing well because they don't have a cool background. That's why.
You're over here flexing. I see that.
Shut up, man. Don't call me out like that. Right? But none of that's important. At the end of the day, if you have it is important to a base level. If you have a semi-decent camera, you have a semi-decent microphone, all right? You got lighting to make the camera work, all right? As long as people can hear you and see you, if you got a camera on, if they can hear you clearly, it's not all muffled and crazy. That's all you need. Going up to this isn't going to change anything. If no one's going to come in and say, oh my God, listen to that. That's why I'm here, right? But if they're already there and then you can give them a production value, sure. But people try and they overcapitalize, like anything, right? You start off slow and then you build up as you progress. If you just go and overcapitalize and get the best cameras and the best microphones, and you're just going to waste all this money and you're not going to get a return. Or you may, but most likely you're not, because most people don't go anywhere on Twitch, right? It's just the fact. It just is what it is. So don't go nuts. Just get a regular webcam, get a regular mic. Use the tools. Most people don't know the basic tools, and all this, like you say, is all Googleable. Googleable? Yeah. It's all on YouTube, right? How to get a noise gate on your mic, how to get filters, how to change the camera, how to adjust the camera. All that stuff will make a crappy camera look pretty good. Won't make it look awesome, but it'll make it look pretty close. And it's all there for free. But people just think, oh, if I just buy this next thing, that's what's going to make it happen. It's not. You just got to do the work. That's what it is. The work.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. And people just I have a saying that if it's worth having, it's worth putting your effort into. If you really want something, you will, no one will have to tell you really anything about getting up, getting started, getting active, because if you're hungry, you're going to go eat. So
figure it out. And that's the thing. It's one of the other things that we sort of touched on Twitter when we first met was, all that what we just said, and we're just playing games, right? That's all we're doing. Yeah, we're just playing games. Amount of times I've heard that. You just play video games. They don't. The amount of work.
You want to dive into that?
How much time you got, man?
I got all night.
You want? Because one of the other threads that I put up on Twitter, I just was sitting there just twittering. It's like, as a streamer, what are you? Right? You're an entertainer. You're a community manager. You're a freaking audio visual bloody expert. Freaking tech support. Right? Yep. You're a babysitter half the time. you're all of these things, and you're marketing manager, accounts manager, right? You're trying to reach out to brands, trying to get this done, trying to do that. You're trying to market yourself, you're trying to manage a community. All this at the same time, and then people turn around and say, "Oh, all you do is play games. Oh, you must love it's awesome. You just play games all day." Playing games. The stream is this one little bit of the whole thing. Like when I'm not streaming, I'm either making a YouTube video or bloody tweaking something on my stream for the next one, or reaching out to brands or there's so many things. I actually went through this on on Thursday stream because we were talking about, somebody asked what I used to do before I was streaming. Because I've been full-time streaming for 2.5 years now. Before that, I was in IT.
Oh, me too.
There you go. So I was a solution architect, and most of my days were sat around just wasting time, right? And then I have a small amount of a couple hours that I need to focus, right? And the rest you're just busy work. But with streaming, there's no downtime. Like I stream 7 hours Sunday to Thursday, right? And during that's go time. There's no lunch break. There's no, you go to the bathroom, have a quick coffee, you come back, and away you go. There's no, I'll see you in half an hour, I'm going on lunch. At least not for me. Some people might do it. But that's just that, right? And then you turn off going live, you go offline, and then now I've got to check all my emails and start reaching out. And then on the weekend, I've got to produce some YouTube videos. So you got to keep that going. You got to be on social media, and it's nonstop. It's nonstop. Whereas, and then you don't get paid for it. Right? And that's the kicker, right? You don't get paid. It's compared to what you make in IT versus what you make as a successful, mid-level streamer. You get nothing. So I don't know. Where do you go from that? I mean, so for the viewers, if you ever think that streaming is easy, and there's always going to be some streaming is easy compared to blah. Yeah, sure. Okay, we're not a doctor. We're not saving lives or anything like that. Sure, but it's the amount of hours you put in versus the reward at the end, right? So it is very much a difficult job in that regard. Yeah. So there's always some. It's so hard. I'll do it. Shut up.
No, trust me, dude. I used to be I was a telephony architect and a senior systems analyst. So, yeah. So, audience, when he says you have amount of time when you're not doing anything and then crunch, yes, that is IT. And when you're on call 24/7, you're on call 24/7.
Yeah.
But yeah, when it comes to literally being a content creator, being literally you're wearing so many different hats, and people don't understand it. They have no concept of it. And I have people all the time that they'll just literally say, "Oh, you're just playing the game. You're not doing this. You're not really doing anything. When are you going to grow up and get a real job? When you're going to do this? When you're going to do that? This is so easy. Anyone can go up and do this." I'm like, really? So you know how to reach out and talk to, businesses, the PR people. You know how to schedule, this and this. You know how to create branding opportunities for yourself and the company where it's something mutually beneficial. You know how to do all that, because I'll tell you what, streaming, playing video games, that's like 1% out of the 99% of everything else that I'm doing. Yeah, it's
it's a lot of work. And if I started it because I just started on a whim, to be honest. I started streaming the day after I found Twitch. Like, I'm very impulsive. So I saw Twitch and I saw a streamer that is like every other streamer. Not every other streamer, but a lot of the, I just saw some random streamer who was just sitting there playing a video game. I could do that. Right? Next day I started doing it. And guess what I was doing straight away? I was doing what he was doing, just sitting there playing a game. It's a skill that takes time to develop, right?
Yeah.
So when all this stuff that I'm talking about, I was doing all that. I was a terrible streamer as well at the start, and it takes time to get there. But what was I saying? Oh yeah, the job. Yeah, as far as all the other, IT is great, but you end up in that corporate world where you end up, at least for me, I was just doing my head in, and I just couldn't. I couldn't go back to work at the end of the year. I was like, I can't do it anymore. I'd come home, honestly, it was really rough. You'd come home and it wasn't strenuous work, but you're just dealing with dumbasses all day long, sort of like Twitch, but at least you have you don't have any control of it there. You can't ban somebody at work, right?
Yeah.
So, and then you come and you just be deflated and then streaming. I was streaming part-time while I was working. So I'd work my normal 9 to 5. I'd come back, and I'd stream 4 hours a night for 4 years. I did that. And then after I got partnered and things started moving and my contract was up in the IT world, I thought, oh, we'll do this full time for a little bit and then we can go back if need be. But, it's been going well. So I've stayed with it. But like as much work as it still is, in my opinion, at least you have some control. You have different stresses instead of the work type of stresses where you're just mentally drained. Like here, you're constantly busy. There's no time to be drained. I'm constantly busy doing something, we just got to get it to the point where it's financially sustainable. Then we're good. I'll figure that out. Maybe I'll get a streamer coach for me. Yeah, that'll work.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's so true though. Like, for me, it's been exactly 1 year since I've been in IT. I actually left my old company, and a very interesting situation because it was a situation of where I had thoughts of going full time, but you know how you always have that doubt, like, I don't know if I'm going to go full time as a creator. So I had doubts, and I was like, okay, it's a nice idea to play with, but this is what I'm going to deal with. But then because I had to deal with a call center, which is one of the areas I oversaw. And the director of the call center was a fucking idiot. Yes, if you're watching this, you're a fucking idiot. Fucked up something. And they were the type of person, and I know you know this type of person in IT, these type of people that will throw anybody under the bus.
Oh, yeah.
They have no qualms about it. They'll throw you under the bus. So this director tried to throw me under the bus, but I pushed back. Mm-hmm. And I pushed back with facts. I was like, well, there's a report. Here's a report. Here's a log. You can't put this on me.
Yeah.
And because I did that, and I did that to her director, the pushback was, and this happened, I'm going to give you a timeline of events. This happened on Friday.
Yeah.
I come into work Monday. I walk in, I'm like, there's a lot of tension in the air. I feel it. And I get pulled into her office. She asked me why did I do this, and this? Why didn't I just go along with it? I'm like, well, it would be intellectually dishonest. So she's like, okay, all right. So then I go. End of the day, I get called into my manager. I get wrote up.
Yeah.
I was like, what am I being written up for? This and this, because the director said this isn't this, but here's the work. Yeah, well, you kind of need to sign this and go along with it. I refuse to sign it. So I come into work the next day. My desk is cleared.
Yeah.
I moved out, and then I have to work in this closet instead of my office. I have to work in this closet. The next day comes. So what were we on? Okay, Monday, Tuesday. Wednesday comes. I'll go into work Wednesday. All my accesses are cut.
Yeah, right.
So it just keeps going over and on and on and on, just because. And it was a situation where the director fucked up. Could we just open a new hospital? And one of the areas in the ICU, the director fucked up something trying to fix the phone line.
Yeah.
And for like 3 hours, no one could call in and out of the ICU. And she messed up something else from another department where no one could access like we call it Epic, but it's like the medical record information stuff.
Yeah, right. Okay.
She was just fucking, like, she has administrative access to look at, but the people who gave her the ability to look gave her the ability to also have admin rights.
Ouch.
So you get what I mean right now. She fucked up some stuff, but she wanted to throw other people under the bus. So because I pushed back, there's a lot of politics in IT. So it just got to a point where I had no more accesses to places. I couldn't physically go there. Access to accounts got removed. She did a lot of stuff behind the scenes. So I was like, I might as well quit. And I told my wife, I went home Thursday and I told my wife, I might as well quit before I get fired. And she's like, no, I don't think you're going to get fired. I said, let me tell you, I'm going to go in tomorrow on Friday.
Yeah.
It's going to be worse.
Yeah.
I went in Friday. It was worse. And I'm like, I need to quit because this is getting, it got to a point where the director was saying like I was starting rumors. And keep in mind, I'm in a closet. I'm not interacting with anyone. Yeah. But she said, I went up to this department. I went to that department. I'm doing this. And because of her status, so people need to understand like IT work, especially when you get like architecture, security, a lot of it is not physically demanding. It's just mentally taxing. It's mentally taxing because the work you're doing is very monotonous. It's very repetitive. You're going to deal with that. Then you got to deal with idiots that don't know what the fuck they're doing. Then you have to have meetings where you have to explain things to idiots that don't understand.
You forgot the meeting about the meeting. You gotta have the meetings about the meeting to come. You can't have that meeting now. Have the meeting about that meeting. Yeah. Can't we just have that meeting now? No, we've got to talk about what we're going to talk about. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And then you wonder half the times, how do these people have these jobs?
It's all busy work. All right. Yeah. It's all busy work just to keep you turning up on Monday just so the cogs can keep rolling. Honestly, that's all it is. All right. And we turn up and we just sit around. And once you know that, you just go have a coffee and you come back and it's no worries. Yeah. For that small amount of time that you actually have to, get the work done. The rest is just busy work, meetings and stupid. And it's well, look, I don't miss it. It's, Twitch is, like I say, it's more demanding and there's more activity, but, I still don't miss like most of the time I was sitting there having coffees and just, if you can tune that out, you'd probably do just fine. But if you need to be active and doing something and be engaged with something, you're not half of the time. You're just sitting there. So Twitch is, doesn't pay anywhere near as much, like I said, but there's always something on. There's always something to tweak. There's always some work to do. There's always, if you're that type of person who likes to be active and keep things going, then it's great. Get in there.
And don't think that you're going to just come out the gate making the same amount of money as what you previously done, because for us coming out of IT pays very, very well. It pays really, like there are days where I'm sitting here and I'm like, oh, I got my Twitch payout. Yay.
I used to make that in a day.
Right.
Look, there's a reason why I have these, right? And the reason I cannot afford it now, right? It's because of what I used to do. So, but that's a trade-off, right?
Yeah.
It's dealing with all that stupid political bullshit and just having to put a smile on your face and just go, yeah, whatever. And it just eats at you, right? So at least with, you're doing Twitch, you're working for yourself. If you succeed, it's on you. If you fail, it's on you. You're working, you're doing all these things. Now, you hope that you can get enough just to pay the bills and keep going. And that's great. And if you can make a little bit more to save along the side, great. If you blow up and then become a millionaire, freaking okay. It's not likely to happen, but cool. I think people who start streaming need to keep that in mind. Your goal, if you are looking to do it professionally, is to make a living out of it. Your goal isn't to be ninja or whatever and make tens of millions. If that happens, more power to you. But that's very, very rare, right? Yeah. Out of the millions of streamers that there are, they're 0.001% are the ones making these $1 million contracts. Everyone else is eking out a living, or some aren't, and some are doing better than others, but the most are in that bracket. And then you got everyone who's starting down below. You got the average watched people here, and then you got the handful up the very, very top. So don't worry about that. Try and get yourself into this bracket and be able to, pay the bills and do all that, and that's it, really. And if anything, if you can push beyond that, more power to you. But you should always be pushing to go more, but don't have that expectation that it's coming, because not everyone gets there. Very few do. Like it's like anything, right? You know, it's a skill that needs to be worked on. And like any job that, you know, not everyone's a CEO.
Mm-hmm.
You know, not everyone's there. So sometimes being a worker bee, being able to pay your bills is good enough.
Yeah.
So, you know, and then if you can try and get more, you know. But I think there's a lot of expectations are skewed. Going back to what we were saying with the affiliate thing, you know, it gives people that immediate satisfaction of I did something, right? Like so quick. Then the next step is partnership. Well, I'm a partner. Ninja's a partner. Bingo bango. I'm like Ninja. No. All right. And that gap is so huge. It's not even. It's crazy to even talk about. That's how huge that gap is. But you're at the same status. You're both partners, right? And it's really weird. It's a real weird thing. And then people see that and go, "That's all I need to do." Then the millions roll in. I'm still waiting. You tell me when you get your first your check coming through, and mine must have got lost in the mail somewhere. I don't know.
So another thing is I had a conversation with a partner streamer a couple days ago, actually, because at one point I guess I hit all the necessary things to apply for partner. But the reason I think I hit them is because I had maybe 1 or 2 reads, but on average, I'm below that viewership. And, you know, I'm being honest with myself. My goal is I want to hit partner, but I'm willing to get that time, and I'm willing to put in the energy effort to build towards that, because I know that's not an overnight success thing. And the one thing the person was telling me was like, have you considered, you know, they're like, well, you work with Nintendo, right? I'm like, yeah, I do stuff in Nintendo. I do stuff in Microsoft. Yeah, I do stuff with these people. So they're like, well, why don't you become a Nintendo streamer? Like, stream Nintendo games. I'm like, I really don't want to do that, because that's like, I'm not that crazy on Nintendo. Like, I'll play Nintendo games, but I'm not like, you're not going to see me playing Wind Waker, Breath of the Wild, like every single stream. Like, it's not a passion for mine. Yeah. And he's like, well, what about Animal Crossing? That's really not my area. He's like, well, you could build an audience from there. And he said the only thing is you could get partner. He said you could become a Nintendo brand ambassador, but if you become a Nintendo brand ambassador, you can only play Nintendo games. And if you do that, then you can't. He said I know you swear. You're gonna have to stop swearing, and you can only, you know, you have to present a certain way. And I'm like, then I'm not going to be authentically myself.
Yeah. And if you go down that road, the audience will be wherever you are.
Yeah.
And that's the key. You can build an audience. So what he's advocating for is throwing everything you have away, going over there and starting from scratch and building an audience from the ground up, because the audience is there. The audience is everywhere. Yeah. Right? So they're not there, they're not here, they're here and there. So if you go there, it's not like magically you're going to get the audience. I mean, you're still competing against all the other Animal Crossing streamers. So what's the difference? You know, aren't you better off doing something that you love and enjoy and are passionate about than something you're not? People will see it. They'll see it on your face. They'll see it in your content. So that's terrible advice. No offense to your friend, but
no, I agree.
I mean, and if you're doing that, right, and if you're just doing stuff to chase the numbers and you're miserable, isn't that what we were just talking about IT, right? Isn't that where you just go there and you're just miserable? It's the whole reason we're not doing that. So it doesn't make much sense, you know, because if you're going to go be miserable, then go back to IT. You're going to get paid 3 times as much, more than 3 times, right? And yeah, it doesn't make any sense. That the whole idea of streaming is having that freedom to do what you're passionate about and sharing that with people. And if you're not, then go make money doing anything else. As far as the partnership application stuff, like when I applied, when I got partner, I was under the average. I applied 4 or 5 times, got rejected each time when I was over the average. And then when I dipped under the average, I applied again and I got it. I think everyone gets bloody knocked back the first couple of times. It doesn't hurt your chances of applying again. So just apply if you're close to it. If you hit it, apply. That's what would be my suggestion. And if you get knocked back, just a lot of people get that knockback and then are gutted, because that stupid freaking achievement in the list says it right there, 75, and then you get it. And so now give me my partnership. That's not how it works. And that's why I hate it, because it gives people that goal and then they see it. And there's so many other things that they're worried about in the background that you don't know about. And you hit it and go, okay, now I'm officially a partner, all but the signing. Let's go. And you get there and then they reject you and you go, why the hell? I meet your requirements. But that's just how it is. So just apply, and if you get knocked back, just don't take it, just go again. But yeah, they do take into account hosts and raids in the averages. So if you got over the line, if you were nowhere near the line and you got over it because of those boosts, then they probably won't give it to you. But if you were pretty close to it and then that sort of pushed you over the edge, but you're consistently at that line, you might get it. I don't know. But they do take into consideration big hosts, big raids. And if that's the core of the audience, you even see it in the dashboard, the breakdown of where your audience is. If it's always all coming from a raid, like if you got a buddy who's always raiding you with hundreds of viewers, that's not going to help you.
And the other aspect of what the person was telling me was that for the sake of marketability, if you want to work with brands or companies, you don't want to be swearing, you don't want to be this, you kind of want to have a squeaky clean image. And I'm over here thinking to myself, I was thinking something, and then I have this problem where I lack the spring to mouth filter at times. So I ended up asking, I was like, how many companies aside from Nintendo have you worked with?
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, just Nintendo. Right. I've worked with almost all the big gaming companies in some capacity.
Yeah.
And the way I got to work with them was because of this podcast.
But I mean, you think about what is going to attract why is a company going to work with you? Because you have access to an audience. That's it, right? It's a business deal.
Yeah.
They want access to your audience. And how do you have the audience is because you're being genuine, you're being yourself. If you're being fake, your audience will see it and they'll go, this guy's a phony. You don't have an audience, you don't have a deal. That's it. So companies want to work with genuine people. Now there are limits to being edgy and all that. If you're right, so you don't want to go crazy, but you still need to be genuine. As long as you're a real, a decent person, then I feel that a company will still work with you, even if you do swear. Like I'm sponsored by Corsair and I swear. They've never said anything about that. It's because it's not. I don't swear because that's the stream. Come to Jim's swearing stream, right? It's not what happened. If that was my stream, and then they'd go, well, we're not going to deal with you because they don't want to be associated. But everyone swears, is
Yeah.
It's a weird take. Yeah, and Nintendo is very PG, right?
Yeah,
they are. So I wouldn't really want to put my eggs in that basket personally.
No.
Yeah,
and that's one of the things too. Like with I was telling him, because I ended up telling him, I said, one of the things I can pick up from what you're telling me is, yeah, you're successful because you're doing this, but there seems to be this snaggling of resentment that you've given up a portion of yourself just so you can have this. And it's like, it seems like, and I said, I could be wrong, I could be reaching, or I could be reading too much into this, but it seems like while you have this, which is something a lot of people would covet, you resent those who are able to just freely speak. Now, I do swear. I do swear a lot. Well, not a lot, but if I'm telling a story, I'll say fuck or shit or damn. Like I'll say stuff like that. But like, as far as
damn's not. It's funny you say damn. Damn's not a swear here. It really isn't. No, like I said, man, I'm Aussie. If I was to show you my swears, you'd get demonetized and all sorts. I'm not going to do it. You'd be off YouTube and off Spotify. You'd be gone. So anyway, carry on. Sorry.
No, but like I'll say that. But usually, like I'm telling stories. Like I'll tell stories about when I used to go to the bar, how I met my wife. Stories at the club, stories in college, stories when I travel when I was working for Microsoft, or different. Just like when I'm streaming, I'm talking about like maybe it's because I do this in real life. I have self-dialogue. I'll just talk out loud. So I carried that over to streaming. So I'll tell stories. I'll talk about this. And I could have no viewers. And it's funny because it goes back to what you were saying before about it being a skill set. When you're talking, people come in, then they'll see that, they'll jump into the conversation. I already do that. Yeah. And that's something I do. For me, it comes naturally just because, doing IT long enough, you go crazy. You have to talk to someone,
Yeah.
But, so I see, you get it.
I get it.
Well, like,
we don't talk about that, man. Come on.
So I'll do that. But like, for instance, with my wife, when she got into streaming, because of the pandemic, she got let go from her job. So now she's doing full-time streaming too. For her, that didn't come naturally. But then I told her, I said, think of it this way. Since I understand she's polar opposite of me, I'm like, think of it this way. I'm like, when you're at your store and you're talking to a customer, you're just having a conversation with them, and it has nothing to do with the product that you're selling, but you're just having a conversation with them. You're talking about a story, whatever. I said, apply that to your stream.
Yeah.
It's the same psychology. So it took her probably, I want to say like a year to get it. Now it's like she can't shut up. I hear her now. I'm like,
but that's what it is. A lot of people get camera shy.
Yeah.
And it's I tell people who are doing it, like, think that your friend is behind the camera. You're just having a conversation with your friend. They're behind. Like, people freak out about the camera and all that, but it's a skill that you need to practice it, because I mean, like I say, I did the same, all the things we're talking about. That's how I was when I started. I got videos on YouTube just from gameplay from when I first started in the first 3 months or whatever, and I'm literally just sitting there playing the game, just dead silent, and I keep them there just as I point. So I go, this was me. And now people come across and I'm still me, but I'm more active and outgoing and all of that stuff, because it's more interesting. And I'm less shy or less nervous, because when I look at the camera, I don't see the camera. I just see the viewer behind it. Like now I see you there. I'm talking to you, not the camera. I'm talking to you. Now, I've got a video feed here, but that's how I picture the chat on Twitch. Like, and it does my head when people change their name of their color name, the name color on Twitch, because I've associated in my head, your name and the color that you are, right? And if you've got a red name and then you change it to blue, and then I double take, go, who the hell am I talking to? Because it throws me off. It's like, don't change your name color. God damn it. Yeah. So, and that's it. That's something that comes with practice. In you associate the camera as if I'm talking directly to the person that's typing to me, and the camera doesn't bother me anymore. Yeah.
Okay. One other here's I definitely want your take on this. So, let's say it's just to say a certain stream coach. I'm not going to say who. You probably know who. And another streamer who's I don't know what they're doing right now, because I feel like they're self-destructing and screwing up a lot. But I'll tell you after. But these two people, you probably know. These people have said to me that there's no point in going for partner, or it's a waste of time trying to get partnered on Twitch, in the sense of there's no benefit of doing it, which is weird to me. And I'm like, but you're partnered, so why are you trying to dissuade me and others? And I've seen this one particular person actually did a YouTube video about it, like why it's not worth it being a partner. They've had threads on Twitter about not being a partner, and I'm thinking, why are you trying to dissuade people from doing that?
Yeah. Like, here's the thing. If somebody makes partner, they worked hard for that, right? Yeah. They put in the work. 90% of the time they put in the work. Maybe 10% cheated, did stupid shit, whatever, right? Forget about those. Most people put in the work. And that's a milestone. As much as it technically is it doesn't mean anything, right? Like you don't get any additional benefits. There's no secret handshake, right? There's none of that. But it's still a milestone from a personal level that you worked hard for. Like when I got partner, I was wrapped because I put in the freaking work. And for those who do put in the work, even if that work happened to be because you got freaking whatever, you managed to do it in a month, more power to you. But it's an accomplishment and you should be proud of it. So to say don't go for it, it's like that's just them being, well, our club is getting saturated and I don't like it. I was an exclusive thing being a partner, and now you can't be there because now there's too many of us. It's bullshit. Yeah. You work, mate. If you get partner, when you apply for it, be proud of it. You did the work. Screw them. It's fucking idiots anyway. I know you're talking about.
They told me to go to Mixer.
Yeah.
And then they put out videos where they're like, or tweets, and they're like, yeah, we knew that was going to go on there. And I'm thinking, really?
Yeah, everyone knew. My God. And this is what shits me, There are so many genuine people on online, yeah? Twitch being one, on Twitter as well. So many, there are genuine people who are awesome and they're happy to help and happy to support you and be awesome, right? Mm-hmm. Then you got all these fuckers who are in it for themselves, selfish pricks, right? And they come across like your best bud and they give you this, but it's always this freaking sly dog move, I've had people like smile to my face and then like going back to some of the stories of people doing dodgy shit, smile to my face, and then in the background, they'd authorized or activated their mods of the moderators of their channels to go off and individually talk to viewers of mine to say, hey, come over to my chat, right? Their mods are sitting there like doing this freaking covert operation while these fuckers are sitting there smiling to my face. And there's so many people who will try and get ahead no matter the cost, right? To just decency. Yeah. And it just does my head because a lot of them will get ahead that way. And it doesn't need to be that way.
Yeah.
I don't get ahead when you fail. I get ahead when I get ahead, right? Yeah. Your failure doesn't impact my success.
Yeah.
And yet people see that and they go, well, I don't know, he's doing better than me, so I need to tear him down. Like, it just shits me. So many people are fake, and you got to be very careful because there's so many stories. People reach out to me because I'm pretty vocal. Like I talk like this on my stream all the time. I don't suffer fools, and I don't care. Right? If someone's going to be a dumbass, I'm gonna let them know. I may not call them out specifically, but I'll share the story like I am now. And so people reach out to me and they'll tell me their horror stories and things like that. And so many of the people that, shared communities, then they're all doing this sly backstabby stuff and they're all smiles and everyone, I never say anything out in public because do what you want, but like, don't you have any shame? Don't you have any decency? Do you think that's the only way to be successful, by tearing someone down? But people do it, man. And it's easy to sit there and discourage somebody. When I talk about, people starting out and I'm not trying to discourage them from starting out and following something they love. It's more trying to temper their enthusiasm and say, listen, it's a hard slog and you need to work to get there. Don't go in with the expectation of, I had a person who's going to go for 6 hours.
Go for it.
I remember a couple months ago, start of the year actually, I was playing some on the weekend. Sometimes I play games with my viewers on the weekend just to chill. Sea of Thieves, I've been doing that nonstop because I'm addicted. But anyway, so I'm sitting on Discord in the open channel, just playing a game. This kid jumps in. He must have, I don't know how old he was, 15, 16, I don't know, whatever. He jumps in the chat and he says, goes, how you doing? Like, we're playing a game. We go, how you doing? Yeah, we're just playing a game. He says, I go, how you doing? He goes, oh, not good. He's real, he sounds sad. What's wrong, mate? He goes, oh, I just did a stream. Oh, cool. How'd it go? Oh, terrible. I had no viewers. I go, oh, okay. How many streams have you done? He goes, oh, that's my first one. That's what do you expect, mate? How many viewers were you expecting? Like you thought you're going to have 1,000 viewers? And that's the thing. It's the expectation now. And that's what I'm trying to dampen, just so people don't get that and get depressed because they had no viewers on their first stream ever. Not Yeah, so not on the other end where people are getting partnership and then you go, no, that's crap. You shouldn't have got that. What? It's ridiculous. Yeah, man. If you when you get there, just be proud because that's work, right?
Yeah, because I mean, like I tell people like, because I'm partnered on YouTube, and you know you got to hit the 10,000. You got to have over it was 100,000, maybe 500,000. No, it's probably still 100,000 views.
Yeah,
but that was work. You know, that took years for me to get there, and I got to that point on YouTube, and I'm like, I'm fucking proud of that. And then so for them to tell me like it's not worth it, but then I'm like, okay, so if it's not worth it, why are you still on the platform?
Yeah,
like what are you trying to do? And it's kind of leads into the other thing for me, like what I've come to. There's this thing when it comes to dealing with other creators, because there are amazing creators out there, yourself included. You know,
oh come on now,
come on, I love this energy you have, and you're someone I could definitely have a drink with. Like I love you. There's no bullshit with you. What you see is what you get, and I love that. There's so many people on these platforms, YouTube, Twitch, whatever, you know, influencers. Hell, there are even people in the industries that we work with, that they smile in front of your face and they cut you at the ankles.
Yep.
If given the opportunity. And it's so I went through that recently, where I literally dealt with, you know, a YouTuber who I was very close with. And I thought we were friends because our wives were friends. I thought we were cool. And not knowing that he was cutting me at the ankles for a while, you know, siphoning my audience and this and that. And there are two types. They're the ones you can see because they're not subtle.
Yep.
And you can see it and avoid it. And there are the ones that you don't see.
They're the worst, yeah.
Yeah.
The ones that you think of, the amount of streamers that, you know, that I've helped over the years, right? And you know, they're pushing for partnership, and I would get my audience in there and not just do a raid and, you know, but get them hyped, and my audience is shared with them now. And then once they get what they want, gone. Right? I don't see him. The only time I see him is when something happens on my channel. Right? I have it was funny because a couple months ago I did a charity stream, and I was on the front page of Twitch Australia, and we had 1,000+ viewers. Surprise, surprise, when I have 1,000+ viewers, these people come out of the woodworks. Oh, hi Jim, how you going? I haven't seen you in so long. Oh, funny that you came in here today. How weird. Of all the days, today you turned up. Well, lovely to see you, buddy. And what do you say at that point? Do you say, go fuck yourself, I see you? What do you say? You know? I don't know. You just go, oh, nice to see you too, mate. Like, it's amazing how out of the woodwork. And every other time, crickets. But when you have something big going on, oh, hi, yeah, yeah, all right. We see it. Right, that's what I was saying before, right? All the tricks, I've seen it all. We've seen it, and you know, it just goes a ledger you know, down in the book. It goes. It's all right. It's all right. We'll keep track. And that's what you got to be aware of. You know, for your viewers, if anyone out there is starting streaming, or just be aware of it, and don't let yourself get taken advantage of, because people will do it. You know, just it happens, and you know it's going to happen to you. Just be aware of it, and then like live with it. But don't get yourself into those situations, or don't allow yourself to be taken advantage of. If you see it, call it out and screw them, because they're not there to help you. They're not going to support you, right? These people who do that, right? They're just trying to siphon off you. They're trying to feed off you, and they give you nothing. It's not a two-way street. And so you shouldn't have any time for them. I know I don't.
Yeah. You know, and it's one of the things I've had a couple of my community members tell me that, because they've seen me go through it from start to finish, they're like, it makes them not want to get into it. And I'm like, well, And I tell them, I'm like, well, if you think this is just exclusive to streaming content creation, you're wrong, because this is in life in general. There are people like this where you work, people, in hobbies you enjoy.
Yeah.
This is people being people. They're opportunists. They're snakes. There's snakes in the grass. That's why you just have to learn how to maneuver about it. And it's there's a lot of things. I'll be frank. I'm partnered with Aver Media, and there are things I see, and I'm like, I'll go this way.
But I think the key is be aware of it, and don't fall into that trap, because there are other ways to do well without. Because I like to think that most people are decent, but they smell blood in the water, and then they just change, right? And you don't have to turn into that snake. I mean, we've just jumped at sharks and snakes, but whatever. But you don't need to do that to do well, right? So avoid the temptation of being a prick, right? Yeah. Try not to be a prick. I mean, that's what it comes down to. Don't be a prick. Be genuine. If someone helps you, right, be there for them. Don't say, "All right, you've helped me and I've got what I want. Now I'm out." It's just common sense, right? Don't be an asshole. It's yeah. But it's the same. And here's a question for you, right? What do you think?
Okay.
Because a lot of the streamers are young, right? You and I, we've had corporate jobs, right?
Yeah.
We know how it is, right? You deal with these people. There's an expectation, all of that. A lot of the streamers are young, and they're sort of fresh out of school. And so, do you reckon that plays into it, that they still have that, they haven't had that world experience to, is it high school mentality carrying over? Or do you reckon they're just assholes?
I mean, it could be that. It could be that. I thought about that too, because I'm in my 30s, and so a lot of the things that I see, like a lot of these streamers, they're late teen, fresh out of high school, early 20s, mid 20s. Yep. They're still in that party. I need to have everything on social media. I need to be in this. I need to do this. Like it. I think part of it, or a large bulk of it, is probably because they're young. They haven't really dealt with a lot of things in life. They haven't experienced a lot. For you and I, we're older. We've had the opportunity of traveling. We've had the opportunity of working with different people, working in organizations, working in structured environments. A lot of these kids, they don't know that. And they're probably going to get mad. I said kids. You're fucking kids.
Get off my lawn.
But I think a lot of it is like, you see it in how they deal with things. Like, okay, like let's talk streamer Twitter, right? Streamer Twitter is predominantly young folks.
Yeah.
That I've noticed. And the way they handle things, I look at it and I'm like, I wouldn't have done that. Like, why do you need to start drama with someone or reach out to someone like that over social? Why can't that could have been a DM? That could have been a phone call. It could have been a text message. Like, why does that need to go public?
Yeah.
And I think it's this generation, because I feel like our generation, we handle things differently than this one. With this generation now, and they think everything needs to be on social media. They need to address everything publicly. Every thought they have. Oh yeah, I'm taking a shit. I'm gonna tweet about it. I'm eating. Let me take a selfie and post it. Where I'm like, man, I'm hungry. I need to eat. I'm taking a shit. Like, just let me meditate. It's like there's a generational gap, and I think that them interacting with us can help them, but at the same time, I think a lot of it's just young and stupid. It's the biggest thing I'm seeing.
I wonder, for a lot of these people who you know, making choices now so publicly that you look at, you go, shit, this is going to bite you in the ass someday. You know? And it's very public, more so than, everyone's doing shit publicly now. And it should worry a lot of people, but people who are on, actively like on Twitter and on Twitch and actively promoting this sort of stuff. You're like, fuck, I wouldn't have done that. Like they should. You got to think about the industry as a whole and how young it is. It came out, it's 10 years ago. This didn't exist, right? Yeah. YouTube was just starting, right?
Yeah.
And so just as it popped out of nowhere, in 10 years' time, what the hell are we going to have? It could be totally different, right? So I wonder and I worry to some degree, that some of these people are going to have this, and especially now where you step out of line one little bit and everyone jumps on you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You will be canceled in a heartbeat. Yeah. That's why, I'm outspoken on things. Like I'll speak my mind on it. There's certain things that will pop up and I'm like, I'm not going to say shit about it because maybe it's socially acceptable now. How do we know that that's not going to change?
Yeah.
Like, how do we not, and we don't know. That's the thing, is we never know where the cultural or the social paradigm is going to shift to next. And for me, I'm like, if I feel a certain way about certain things, like I'll give an example, right? So with the George Floyd situation, then you had a lot of the Black streamer community, come out about, uplifting Black voices. He had a lot of companies come out about uplifting Black voices. Like, I'm Polynesian, but I'm also Black as well. So you had a large group of people, and I saw this personally, take advantage of that atrocity that happened to George Floyd and use it to get more subs, more views, more this, more that, more opportunities. And as soon as they got what they wanted, poof, they're gone. So when that was going on, I kind of just stayed silent because I was like, and maybe it's the IT in me, the analytical part. I kind of need to see everything. I need more information before I can just hop out and do something. I'm impulsive, but there are certain things I'm not impulsive about. And when it comes to social media, I've seen too many people jump out and say things and then they get put on the stake and burned for it. So when I did speak out about that, I spoke out actually against a lot of the other Black creators that did that. Because I'm like, look, you're talking about uplifting Black voices. You're talking about doing this. You're talking about doing this. But the only people you helped were yourself.
Yeah.
And people in your circle. There are other Black creators I know who are doing great things. You ignore them. If you're tagged, you'll put out a post saying at me, tag me if, for this creator, or drop them in this thread, and people will do it. And the only people you reach out and help are people that are in your circle. So, and I criticize companies too. I'm like, if you're going to say you're going to uplift Black voices and uplift Black voices, that make that be across the board. Don't let that just be because this person has X amount of followers. If you're going to be fair across the board. And Black creators, you should not utilize tragedies just for your own self-gain. Like, how that correlates to you, like, you're over here, like, you're concerned about police brutality, but then you say you're scared, you're this, you're that, you're this, you're that, and then you jump up to 1,000 subs, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 subs on Twitch. And then you hit your plateau, you hit your goals. Then you get your check mark on Twitter. And then next thing you know, you don't care about it anymore.
Yeah. New topic of the day.
Yeah. So I spoke out about that. I caught backlash for it. But I stood my ground because I'm like, that's wrong. But a lot of these people, they're young. They're hopping out. They're saying things. They're doing things, and they're putting everything out there. There's no wherewithal, you know, and maybe it's a difference in who I follow, maybe. Because I see a lot of people talk about how streamer Twitter is toxic. This, you know, it's all this drama streamer Twitter. And honestly, I only see the drama from certain people. And it's usually the same people over and over and over. Like there's one that is anti BLM. And I'm like, okay, BLM the principle or BLM the organization. They don't know the differentiation between the two. So they're anti that. But they're sponsored by a company that's pro.
Yeah.
BLM. And they'll like and retweet the pro BLM stuff and then post over here anti. And I'm thinking to myself, at first I'm like, how old are you? Then I'm thinking, do you not realize you're shooting yourself in the foot? Because if this company sees it and you're going against,
you lose it straight away.
Yeah, you're done. So it's like, and then when I spoke to this person, they're like, I'm not political. What the fuck are you doing?
I don't get. I don't. As people as people who are trying to get others to participate, right? In streaming, whatever you do, right? To be racist, homophobic, bigoted, whatever, on a selfish level, doesn't that impact your potential audience? Right? From if you just view it from a purely selfish level, you're a piece of shit, that's fine. But from a purely selfish level, right? Shut your mouth so you can get these people to support you, or you know what I mean? I never understood it for creators who are in that, who think fucking disgusting shit, right? I never quite understand, like, how dumb are you? Right? You know what I mean? Like, even if you are a piece of shit, like, shut your mouth, and somebody who doesn't know you're a piece of shit because you haven't said anything might support you, right? Just from a selfish level. Just, I never quite understood it. But I mean, for my, like, I'm none of those things. And for me, it's like, cool, man. I don't care who you are. Come over, hang out with me.
Yeah.
Right? A, because I don't give a shit. I'm happy for everyone to be with me. But B, why would I limit my audience and say, no, you guys are excluded? That group's excluded. What the fuck? What sort of idiot am I? You know? Why would I ever exclude an audience group? But people are stupid. You know? So even from a selfish level, none of that shit works. It doesn't make any sense. Like, on multiple levels, but even just from a personal, stupid person, selfish level, it doesn't make any sense to be that way.
No, it really doesn't. I just don't understand it. Like, and you and I are very, very, very similar. I'm starting to see that because I'm the same way. Like, I don't fucking care. Let's hang out. Let's play video games. Like, you know, I know when things were getting heated with all the stuff that was going on before, and people were getting tense. I'm over here like, hey, let's just come chill, enjoy some games, let's talk story about food, whatever, traveling. You don't want to keep all that high negative energy everywhere you fucking go.
Yeah.
You need to have a de-stressor. So that's how I am. But some people with this exclusatory mentality, it makes me want to think like, hey, you should take a marketing class because you're doing it all wrong.
It just doesn't make sense.
No.
Unless you're a freaking anti-mask person in a pandemic, then shut the fuck up and get out of my chat. I won't have it.
Okay, can you explain something to me? Okay, anti-mask people are stupid, but the people who wear a mask and they'll wear it here or here, why?
That's Can't be too harsh on them because at least they're wearing it. If they just don't know that you need to cover your nose, fine. Like somebody should point it out to them.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's pretty dumb, right? But but say I want to give them credit for at least getting halfway, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I want to give them some credit. But it's pretty freaking dumb. Like, you know, that's a whole point to all these people going around and bitching and moaning about masks. I mean, masks have been worn by people in industries forever.
Yeah.
For hours on end. Firefighters wear them in fires, funny enough, with heavy smoke. And then people are complaining that they can't breathe because they got to go from their house to the shops and then back. Right. So for what, an hour, 2 hours? Right. If firefighters are out in the smoke for 8 hours a day with heavy respirators and all that, doctors are in surgery for 8 hours plus a day. No one's fainting and I can't breathe. Right. Miners, painters, plasterers, you name it. Masks are everywhere. And yet all of a sudden, a mask is too hard to wear because I can't breathe. It's going to kill me. What are you talking about? No one's dropping dead in the freaking, no painter is dropping dead from fume. You know, what are you talking about? And they're dealing with fumes and stuff. You're dealing with nothing. Anyway, just not going to. It just doesn't make sense. It's when it's illogical, I get upset. It's like, that doesn't make sense. Like if it just doesn't make sense. It's okay. I'm okay. How are people doing it? How are people dealing with it over there? Because here where I am, I'm in Melbourne, Victoria, Australia, and we're coming to the tail end of a second wave here in Victoria, where the rest of the country didn't really get a second wave, and this time around we had heavy restrictions, which we're going to lift this coming Wednesday if things go well, which they're looking to do. Heavy restrictions. We've got a curfew at 8 p.m. You can't go outside after 8. You can only go out for an hour of exercise within 5 kilometers. You can't go, get in your car and go, 3 suburbs over and go to the gym or whatever. Those gyms are closed anyway. All that stuff. And for the most part, people are doing the right thing. And we've seen dramatic drop in the numbers. We had, I say that, and I know what's going on in the States, but like we had a peak of 700 odd cases, new cases for one of the days, and it started like it was 500, then it went to 700, then it went back down to 500. I think it was only one day at that 700 mark. That was our peak. And then we've steadily declined from there. But I think people seeing the decline and with everyone doing the right thing, it's encouraging more people to stay the course, and we're almost through it. But how is it over there for you? Do you have those measures or?
Okay, so Hawaii is in its second lockdown. So we're not as bad as California. Well, I don't think many places are as bad as California right now with everything that's going on there. But we went from single-digit cases to whatnot, single to double-digit. Wasn't that bad, but we had people that wouldn't wear masks, people that would not stop gathering in large, like my neighbors, even right now, I hear them. They're partying. Huge group of them. They just, they do it every weekend and they don't care. And, people continue to gather. There's this whole idea. And this is one of the problems with Hawaii, granted, yeah, we are part of the U.S., but the issue with Hawaii is people here have this mentality that anything outside Hawaii is not a Hawaii issue. They're so that's the nicest way I can put it. Stupid. Oh, sorry.
Okay. I was gonna say insular, but all right, stupid sounds better.
Stupid. Yeah. When it comes to a lot of things, because how hard is it to stay home? How hard is it to wear a fucking mask? How hard is it to do X, Y, and Z? They won't do it. They just won't do it. And we're now like we had a lockdown in either May or June, which went for a month. Came out of it. They started opening things up. People were going back to work. Things were looking like it was blowing over. And then we got our second wave. Our second wave hit us pretty hard, which hit us about a month ago, we were getting thousands a week.
Yeah.
Getting it, catching COVID-19. And then it started going down. So it looked like we were going to open back up. We got down to a couple hundred, wasn't as bad. And then out of nowhere, which we started, and to be honest, I noticed that the numbers spiked around the time we started having protests and stuff like that. Just because it was, and I'm not against protests, but it's large gathering, people not wearing masks, not in close proximity to one another. So our numbers spiked again. They spiked really hard. So we went back into lockdown, and we were just about to lift the lockdown yesterday, but numbers keep going up. So the governor is like, no, we're going to extend it another month.
Yeah.
So it's like,
and you just know if people just did the right thing if everyone did the right thing for the window, it would just go, right? Yeah. That's how it works. You cannot catch it if you're not interacting with others. You cannot spread it if you're not interacting with others. I mean, if you have to go out, and that's the problem, right? There's no magic way to make everyone not interact with anyone. But there's simple precautions that people can take when they have to, right? Don't have the party next door right now, right? Right, that's just basic. You don't need to have that party. Just have it online if you must. Just wear the mask when you go to the shops. Like, limit what you do, and it just makes sense, right? Just get it done. The quicker we get it done, then this shit passes. And we've been doing okay. Our numbers have been steadily declining. We're down to 40 odd a day. So I think 41 yesterday or something like that. But as long as we stay under the 14-day average, under 50, they're going to release start opening things back up, with restrictions in place. But hopefully this is done soon enough, mate. It's getting, you just want people to do the right thing for a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's baffling just realizing, like, it should not. There makes no sense whatsoever that a lockdown would increase cases. No. It's illogical.
Of course. Yeah. But that's the problem when people aren't taking it seriously, and it goes back to what we're talking about, selfish people, right? Because they're going to reap the benefits of everyone else's sacrifice of staying the hell home, right? Everyone gets that benefit of when things open up again. And all these people who are being selfish and go, it doesn't apply to me, I don't need to do my part in this, right? They get the benefits. This is what pisses me off, When everything opens up, they're out there going, yeah, sweet, I didn't have any impact. But everyone else is doing the work. Like, fucking just do your part, you dumbass. Good work. What are you going to
do? So, yeah. We covered a lot of ground here.
Jeez, haven't we?
We really have. Yeah.
Good chat.
It really has. And being respectful of your time, because I've taken up 2 hours of your time. We kicked this off, I said 45 minutes to an hour.
I know.
We went 2 hours.
That's a problem when you get two people who talk for a living. What's going to happen? You're going to sit there and talk shit for 2 hours, no problem.
Right?
So
one of the things I know you brought up that you do, I guess bring it back to Twitch. Well, actually, no, incorporating Twitch into this whole pandemic thing. I'll say that there'll be the question after this question. But so this pandemic has seen a spike in the amount of people that are streaming, creating content, doing stuff like that. I think it's great. People discovering other things to do, to not be bored, to release their creativity. How long do you think this is going to last before they drop it?
Very soon. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because as soon as people can get it back outside, right? Yeah. People have, right? There are those. It's a split group, right? You got people who have hobbies outside who can't do it right now. So if out of the people who have started Twitch, so you got those people who are going to go back to their hobbies outside of Twitch. They might continue it, but if you don't do the work, you don't get any gains, and then once you don't get the gains, you're going to get discouraged and you're going to drop, right? So they're going to drop. Then you got the people who have found it out of just out of necessity and are going to do well. They're going to stick with it. So there's a group of that. And then you got all the kids who are doing it. Because everyone can stream off, their Xbox or whatever. It's easy enough to stream. So everyone just can press go live. You got a lot of kids. And when I say kids, I mean children. Like not, I'm not trying to disparage anyone. Like I'm talking about literal kids who are going to go back to school, right? Who are going to, they're kids. So they're going to change hobbies and interests and whatever. So they're all going to drop as well. So it's going to be a small number that stick to it after this, I would have thought. Once things open up and everyone goes back to normal. Because people who are doing it with no other option or no other outlet, as soon as there is another outlet, unless they're doing well with it, which most people don't start doing well for a long time, unless they are, they're going to drop it and go back to, kicking a football or whatever outside, I don't know. So I'm expecting the numbers of actual streamers to drop after things go back to normal, if and when. 2021, 22.
2021, please be better than this year.
Jeez.
This has been an insane year. No, I agree with you. Like because I'm seeing this also with podcasting. You got all these people like popping up now saying, "Oh yeah, I want to start a podcast. I want to be a podcaster. I want to do a show." And it's just one of the reasons I made the tutorial, because I saw a market that there's many videos that like, oh, this is how to make a podcast, but there's no continuation beyond the bare minimum. So like me, I'm going to do weekly episodes for how to podcast. Here's the hosting sites. Here's how you market. Here's how you reach out. Like I'm going to do stuff like that. Yeah. But I'm seeing a lot of people popping up. I want to do a podcast. Oh, Mikhail, how do I do this? How do I do that? And I'll give them advice. They'll do it 2-3 times later. Done. So I'm expecting that to drop off dramatically. Because people think that this is, it goes back to what we were saying before with the whole, oh, you're just playing video games. It's that idea that anyone can do it. It's so easy. And then when they actually see the amount of work that goes into it, it's like, no, it's not that easy.
Yeah. And that's 100% it. So I'm all for people trying it. I don't want to discourage anyone from trying it, but it's like what I said earlier. It's, expect that it's difficult. Expect that it's going to take time to have anyone listening, to have anyone talking to you, right? It's going to take time. There's so much. You're competing with so much noise, right? And you're competing with people who've been doing it for a lot longer than you. And so it's really hard people only have a certain amount of hours a day. There's only so many podcasts I can listen to a day. There's only so many Twitch streams I can watch each day. Bless you. Right. And so I've got a limited amount of time. You're competing with all of that. And unless you're, it's not something that everyone can just jump in and be successful. And you need to work. Yeah. And like I say, once things open up, people who we're just doing it for a bit of a laugh, bit of a hobby, which is it's a lot of the way how Twitch starts, right? Most people start it as a hobby. I know I did, just for a laugh. And then, you either continue with it or you don't. I think once things open up, you got to have other options. A lot of people will go, oh, cool. This isn't for me. That was a bit of fun. Now I'm going to try this, So, yeah. But yeah, those guides are smash them out because they'll be good for anyone. Because a few people will continue on,
So it's something else I've seen from certain partnered prominent YouTube, not YouTube. Well, they do YouTube as well, but streamers on Twitch, where they have said like, you should get rid of the just chatting. Well, not just chatting, but like, like just chatting stream. Well, no, stream starting. Sorry, my mistake.
Yeah.
Starting soon. Like you should get rid of that because you're gonna lose viewers that way. Or what was another one they said that you should get rid of? Like you shouldn't run ads on your stream. I want to get your take on that because I find it weird. The whole starting soon, that lets me get set up and ready. But I guess their logic is you should be that way as soon as you hit.
You can't. I mean, it's just dumb. What that is I've run out of. I can't regurgitate the same bullshit tips that I did in 2019 to 2020 because I already did that video and I've got nothing else. So there you go. Let's change this up. It's a load of crap. Now, if you have a starting soon screen and it says I'll be live in 3 hours, yeah, that's a bit much. I've got mine set to 10 minutes. And I actually have a camera that's up there and it has a top-down view. And I'm here because any problem that you're going to get on your stream, as far as not any problem, but generally any problem that you will have with your network or anything will show itself in the first 2 minutes, right? So I run the stream there. I've got the camera. People can see what I'm doing. You know, while I'll send out my message on Discord, say I'm going live. And then I'm monitoring the stream. And if it's not stable, you're better off shutting the stream and restarting, rebooting your router or whatever, doing that early than once you have 50 people. Because if any of those go AFK and you shut the stream, they won't, unless they're there to refresh the page, you lose them as a viewer because they won't reload because Twitch is shit. So that's why I do it. And I do that. I monitor it for a bit, make sure everything's okay. If it's good, I go make a coffee, you know, what I had here before, right? Cup of coffee and a glass of water, bring it back, boom, there you go. And so out of the 10-minute timer that I have, I will generally, whatever, I don't know, 5 minutes, 6 minutes, depends on the day. There's nothing wrong with it. People know, they come in, they chat with each other. What that is just clickbait bullshit, you know, and it started drama, right? It started Twitter drama, which got them freaking positive or negative views. I don't care. It's all views. That's just, I saw that and I was like, really? Is this what, think about what that is. Like,
so you saw it too.
I saw it. I see it all. You think about that, right? Like, what's the average stream? I don't know. You got people who stream for an hour. You got people who stream for 10 hours, right? So 4 hours, right? Whatever. Let's throw 4 hours as the minimum stream. What's a starting, you know, out of your 4-hour stream, you think you're going to lose viewers because of the 5 minutes of starting soon screen? You're not, right? Out of 4 hours, that's what's going to do it. And out of all the advice you can give, that's going to impact the 4 hours. You've got something that's going to impact 1% of it, the first 5 minutes. Think about it, right? This is the tip. This is going to make the difference. You've got all this content, right, that I could give you tips about any of this 4-hour work. But now I'm worrying about the first 10 minutes. It's just bullshit clickbait. Yeah. It does my head because I see through it. It's just bullshit. You know, if I'm going to give somebody a tip, I'm going to give them some, like I said, with the VOD stuff. You can go watch that and you can get, that's going to build that 4-hour stream that you do is going to be better as a result of you understanding what works and what doesn't.
Yeah.
Starting, like, there's no point talking about it. It's irrelevant. Unless you're doing something stupid and putting a, 40-minute starting soon screen, then it's just dumb.
Yeah.
As far as go on.
I've seen a guy do a 30-minute starting soon, and I'm like,
that's just too much.
That's too.
Like, most people will do a reasonable, like, 10 minutes max type thing. Just set things up, press live, whatever, make sure everything's working, do whatever, get a coffee, let's go. And the ad stuff, ads aren't, I only run ads personally when I take a bathroom break, right? Okay. So, and I do that, bathroom break, coffee break, whatever. And I'll do that maybe, I don't know, 3-4 times through the stream. Like I said, I stream 7 hours. They're not really worth the hassle. Financially, they don't pay anything. They pay bugger all. It's, like $30, $40 a month of ad revenue, right? Now, if I was to up that, if I was to double it, right, and get $80 a month ad revenue, is that worth it? Unless you've got, the people with, once you hit a threshold, once you hit like 1,000, 2,000, 15,000 viewers, those ads really start paying out. And then you got something to really talk about. But for most people, in the couple hundred range, the ads don't pay anything. They're worthless. So again, it's not really all that. I mean, some people, I don't run them periodically because I don't want people to miss the content. But when people do, if you don't want the ads, support the person you're watching. I hate when people complain about the ads. So, I just got to see ads. Well, then sub. The ads pay for it. Well, they don't, but that's what they're there for. Either the ads pay for it or you pay for it. You want the free experience or you want the paid experience. That's it. Don't complain. And especially when people don't run them during content, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, I guess that's something like my wife and I were talking about, because she was trying to figure out like, oh, should I get rid of my starting soon? And like, or if I go to the bathroom, should I not run an ad? Should I rush to the bathroom? And I'm like, take your time.
Yeah.
Like, I've gotten to this point lately. If I go like my stream today, yesterday, I don't know, I've lost track of time. Whenever I did my last stream, I literally went to the bathroom. I took 5-minute break, because I told her, like, think of it like this: you're working 7-8 hour job, right? You get half an hour off. So if you take 3 10-minute breaks out of an 8 or 9 hour stream or 7 hour stream, who's gonna fault you for that?
Yeah.
You can't just be like, you need to get up, you need to move. It's not healthy just sitting there.
You'd be surprised at how many will.
Yeah, like that's crazy. And so like I told her, like, just you need to go to the bathroom, you need to go to the kitchen, get something to eat, get something to drink, do something. You need to stretch, do what you need to do. Like, there's nothing wrong with it. If people are gonna leave, they're gonna leave anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't control that. And this idea that you have to just placate to just keep these people, like, I when I saw a thing about the starting soon, I thought that was fucking ridiculous.
Yeah,
it just
the next thing that they could make a video about. It's bullshit.
Yeah,
it really was.
Yeah,
But yeah, I've got that camera, so my starting soon, people can see what I'm doing. So I'll give them a wave. I read the chat while I'm digging around, and if someone says something stupid, I give them the finger, and they love it. People love it. We have that banter where everyone gives me grief, and I give it back. So it's good fun. I think it's just blown up, like most of Twitter stuff is. It's all blown up bullshit.
There's oh shit, I lost train of thought. There was something else I wanted to ask too. It was fuck, where was it? What was it? Oh, okay. So you probably saw this tweet a couple of days ago, or this week. There's a tweet about not streaming more than 2 or 3 hours. And like, if you do that more than that, you're wasting your time.
It's very hard, because it depends on what the audience size is, right?
Yeah.
I'm assuming that's to somebody who's just starting out. I reckon 4 hours would be the most I would recommend anyone stream when they've got 3 viewers. 1 hour is too short. 2 hours is pretty short. 3 hours is maybe okay. 4 hours is probably the sweet spot. Doing 10, 12 hours, that's crazy talk. Because you're not going to do anything with that. But there is some logic to it. I think 2 might be a bit short on that front, depending on what you're doing. It all depends on what you're doing. But and depending on how many numbers you've got. If you can maintain an audience for 8 hours, then maintain your audience for 8 hours if you want. I mean, it's different for full-time streamers. They're going to do a lot more. I'm not a big fan of super long streams, because if somebody when people do 24-hour streams and stuff, and when somebody comes in at the 23-hour mark and you're like this, half dead, that's their first impression. You've lost them. Yeah. Right? They don't care that you're doing 24-hour stream. They don't care. So I'm not a big fan of those sort of things. But if you're streaming to nobody for 8 hours, don't. It's no point. Do half that. But yeah. You got to find. You also, you got to use it to find your hours, what works, and all that stuff for you. So when your peaks and your troughs are through the day. So I don't know. There is some truth to it, but yeah. How many do you do? When you do it? What are your thoughts?
So I usually stream 7 to 8 hours. I've been fluctuating around my schedule to figure out what's a good time for me, because for the longest, I kept streaming usually 7 or 8 p.m. my time, just because that's a year ago, that's when I used to get off work.
Yeah.
So that would be when I would stream. And so I started fluctuating around a couple months ago to, and maybe I should do early afternoon. Maybe I should do midnight. Maybe I should do this time. And what I found so far, with this week alone, I started streaming at about, between 5 or 6 a.m. my time.
Wow. Okay.
And that allows me to catch people internationally.
Mm-hmm.
I can catch people East and West Coast of the United States. And because my audience for my streams is not in Hawaii.
Yeah, right.
I'll just be honest. Like, video games is not something people here in Hawaii actually care about.
Right.
It's actually actively discouraged.
Yeah.
But when I'll catch my audience, and then I average between 16 to 30 viewers, and for me, I know it's small, but I'm proud of that. I remember when I was streaming to like one person, so it's like, I found that I do best usually earlier, so at 5 or 6 a.m., sometimes 7 or 8 a.m. into like maybe 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, maybe 4, and it works best for me because I get that traffic. People are up then, versus only getting some audience at this time and some audience at this other time. So that's where I'm at. And it took me time, and it's one of the things, like I told my wife, I told other people, like, you got to experiment too.
Yeah. You gotta find
but also, like, when it comes to your schedule, which schedules are important, don't put it to a point where you're inconveniencing yourself. Like, you're going to be dead. You don't want to be dead on stream.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I do 3 p.m. through to 10. During this year, I tried doing split schedule. Some days 10 a.m. through to 5. And then the other days would be 3 to 11. So I didn't want to lose anyone. And all it meant was, especially on those crossover days where I'd do an early, a late, and then the next morning I'd do an early, I was just rat shit. I was just absolutely wrecked. So, it wasn't good for anyone. When I went back to I just went back to the 3 to 10, and it was, better, more energy. So the numbers actually went up from there. So
nice.
It all depends. Yeah, you got to try it. Like, that's what I did. I did try things out to test.
And as far as like scheduling, like the way I look at scheduling, and you probably look at it the same way, I look at scheduling. The reason I find it to be important is because for a lot of people, we're like watching a TV show.
Yeah.
They need to know when you're going to be streaming so they can set aside time to watch it. Because one thing people can't get back, and one of the most valuable things for people is time. And if you can set aside that time, boom, there you go.
Yeah, and people know when you are, where you are, when you'll be there, and they tune in.
Yeah.
That's why they're there. Yeah. That's why. Yeah, I maintain it. I try and maintain the same time, 5 days a week for people, and they know where I'll be. And it's always fun when people come in and say, "Oh, I didn't know you were streaming this time." I'm always here.
Yeah. So, so winding down to the last couple of questions. As far as like putting content out on other platforms, like I've seen a lot of coaches talk about doing YouTube videos and stuff like that. My thoughts are, people who are streamers who are trying to emulate, I guess, these popular tutorial people, I'll just say popular tutorial people, understand these people have teams.
Yeah.
It's not just them streaming, making a video, recording, editing, uploading. They have a team. So find what works for you. But I want to know what your thoughts are.
No, I agreed. I mean, I like making YouTube videos, but I can't do it. As in, my editing, I know how to do video editing to a degree. I'm not a professional editor, but I've learnt enough to get me through. Most of my videos are self-edited. They just take too long because I'm not very good at it, right? When you're good, you smash it out, because the sort of edits I do are pretty easy. You know where to do the cuts, right? But if you don't know how to do it, you want to slow motion something, I've got to Google that. How do I slow motion again, right? So they take hours. I've spent 11 hours on a 10-minute video once, right? And so it is hard to pump out the YouTube content. Does it help? It's better than belting your head against the wall and just streaming 12 hours a day. Yeah. Will it eventually, like, it depends what kind of content you do. If you have something, it's there, right? That's a good thing about it. Once you make it, it's there. You can go, it doesn't matter, like 2 years down the track, it's still there. And if you do a video, you know, here and there, it adds up and it builds up that library. But yeah, you're right. People can pump out these videos nonstop because they have editors and they all cost money, right? So yeah, I could pay for an editor, but that costs money. Then, you know, a video that makes 0.001 cent, right? Because they don't make any money on YouTube unless you're getting a lot of views. You don't have, they don't pay for themselves. So it's just an expense. Yeah. Okay. So if you can make the YouTube videos, but again, don't overcapitalize, and it's really hard because you don't want people to go broke trying to get this thing going.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. Like editing video. I've got one that I've been trying to do for 3 weeks now because it's a 3-hour bit of footage that I need to break down to about 8 minutes. So I got the structure down, but that's 3 hours I got to trawl through and figure out what's the best fit to get that overall narrative out of a 3-hour video. And that's what an editor does. That's their expertise. And that's a skill that I don't have. But yeah, so it's hard to make this content. You know, people throw it away. Like, yeah, do YouTube content. Oh, what am I going to do? Right? People throw it away. Throw the comment out there as if it's easy. And you can't just re-upload your stream and go, there you go. People don't want to watch that shit.
Yeah.
So you need to have that. You got to tell a story, do a narrative, give a guide, do something, a tutorial, whatever it might be. It's hard. I don't really have the answer there because my YouTube's pretty ordinary. I've got, what have I got? I don't even know. 1,600 subscribers over there or something like that. Something like, I'm not sure. But yeah, then some videos, you go, that video is good. And then you see all these other videos, you go, my video is better than that. And then YouTube just won't promote it because that's the way it is. And so you can put all your effort into one video that you think this is good. I rate that. That's actually really funny. It's really good. That will do well. And YouTube says no. You know? So, and I don't know about the crossover of how many people will come. It all depends on that video, right? If people do see it, then they're going to figure out where your Twitch is because you've told them. But if they don't see it, then it's like a whole bunch of work for nothing.
Yeah.
But it's there.
Yeah.
As in it's there, and if later on something changes, the algorithm decides to kick in, then that they're still there. They still have that potential. So
yeah. So I guess one of my last questions, second to last question I'll ask is when it comes to, say, your audience, right? So typically you'll have an audience that you have the ones that'll support by watching, and you have the ones that'll support by subbing, bits, donations, and all that. In your opinion, how do you manage, because ultimately this is a business, how do you manage when it comes to your audience, being a businessman or, a business person, and also dealing with trying to be the friend?
Yeah, I think I get what.
Yeah,
I think I get what you're saying. This comes into play when you're promoting stuff, right? I'm very careful on the number of things that I promote at any given time, because if you just bombard people with this and this and this, sign up for that, sign up for this, then you're asking too much of your audience, I think. Even things like charities. I do charity streams here and there, but I'm very careful with the charity streams, as in the frequency of them, because people want to support stuff, and then if you go, cool, this week we're doing, or, today we're doing this charity, and tomorrow we're doing another one. So hold on, you don't want to put. You got to be respectful of their finances as well. You know what I mean? So that I keep an eye on that. I make sure I try not to bombard them. Because I wouldn't like that if that was happening to me. I suppose that would be, because you want them to support you, right? And the things that you're doing, but you got to, if you push too hard, then you're going to push them away, right? And we've seen that on Twitter and Twitch and all that stuff, when people go, "Give me subs, rah rah rah," and then surprisingly that actually works for them. But anyway, you got to be. It's got to be a balance between pushing people to sub, and then reminding people that they can sub, and this is the perks they will get for doing that, versus saying, "Hey, if you don't sub to me, you can get lost or being an So it's a tough line. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's really, and it's a tough balancing act. And then you have to deal with sometimes the people that we spoke about earlier that feel like they own your content if they give you money. Yeah. And then you have to set that barrier up front where, like, no, you're not doing that. And that can be a difficult conversation for some people.
I mean, the harsh reality is that a Twitch sub nets the streamer about $2.50, right? A month per sub, right? So when somebody, and I've had somebody who wanted to jump on Discord and I let him on because we were playing a game, and then he just started talking. Dude, this isn't our time to have this one-on-one discussion. I've got there's other people here, so that's why I'm very careful with those who are let on to Discord while I'm streaming, because people would like to take over and just won't shut up. It's like, it's not your show, it's my show. And then after I explained that to him, quite respectfully, I said, look, this is a reason. He says, oh, but I'm a sub. Well, that's $2.50, buddy, a month, right? That doesn't give you, I'm not going to let you derail my show for $2.50. If you want to derail the show, start adding a few zeros, right? And we'll talk. Right? But at the end of the day, a sub is worth $2.50 a month. And so you got to be, that doesn't, people try and pull you in this and that direction, but yeah, it's, I had a person, because I ran an ad like we were talking about before. I ran an ad when I went to the bathroom. When I run an ad, like I take a 5-minute break, I run a 3-minute block, and I'll do, like I say, about 3 of those per stream per 7 hours. So bugger all. There's nothing else to see anyway. I've got a Be Right Back screen on. There's music in the background, whatever. There's nothing to see. Let an ad play, right? The ad supports the content you're watching for free. So you're not missing any content. There's nothing. I get back, and then he started abusing me. He said, oh, I just got 9 ads in a row or whatever. Okay. I don't control the ad thing. I just put the block, and then Twitch will run the ads that done. I don't set what ads. And he goes, oh, why do you even run the ads? It's like, you make too much anyway. I freaked out. Like, he was telling me how much I should make. All right. And I said, I just went to the bathroom for freaking 5 minutes, and now you're telling me that I make too much money. And then I shouldn't run ads because I lost my mind. Obviously, I banned him. And he can take his money and go shove it. Right. Because he wasn't even a sub anyway. But some people have these crazy, I don't know, notion that they own you. It's like, you don't own me. You support me, and I appreciate that. But there's a big difference, and there's a line. And the vast majority of people get that. I don't have many people try to cross that line. Not anymore. I think people now have got a sense that you don't want to do that stuff with me because I'll just ban you. Yeah.
Okay. And I guess anything you want to leave the audience with before we go? Because we covered a lot, but
we have. Jeez, no profound messages. Just wear a mask. There you go.
And have a god tier beard. I'm so envious.
I don't know if you notice in the camera. I think it's the Moira effect or Moira effect. I don't know. Anyway, you see when he wears a striped jumper on a stream or on a video, and it does the thing. The beard does it. See that? Yeah. And I wish I could stop that happening, but it's just the thing with digital cameras and straight lines. There you go. I always find that effect interesting. On that note.
Did you have fun?
I had a great time. It was a great chat. I really appreciate you having me on. It was awesome.
Definitely, man. And we definitely need to do this again, because
absolutely there's lots to talk about.
There's so much to talk about, and it's refreshing being able to find somebody to talk about, because a lot of times you just never know. Okay, for instance, a lot of content creators, streamers and YouTubers I've interviewed, a lot of them, they're open to talk about stuff. A lot of them want to tiptoe around things. And I'm over here like, okay, well, fine, whatever. Yeah, but it's refreshing having someone that doesn't mind being open and honest about, like, okay, there's a lot of bullshit here. There's a lot of stupid. Oh, why'd you post that? Anyway, it's like being able to take something and generalize it and provide a lesson out of it. Like, this is why this happens. This is why you should wear a fucking mask. Like, I enjoy that.
I think it's the Aussie way. I think it's the Aussie in me, It's just don't have time for bullshit.
Hey, I respect it. And again, like, go ahead and plug your social media outlets and your Twitch and everything like that. And then I'm also going to leave links to everything down in the description below this podcast. Awesome.
So you can catch me Australian Eastern Standard Time. So I don't know, whatever. 3 p.m. through to 11 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard, Sunday to Thursday. On Twitch, it's twitch.tv/Backyardis. Same with YouTube, youtube.com/Backyardis. You can check out the videos there, some Twitch ones and whatnot. On Discord, if you want to join us, discord.gg/Backyardis. Twitter is Backyardis TV, and Instagram and all the rest are Backyardis TV, but who cares?
Okay. All right.
Thank you so much.
All right, and with that being said, people, you'll be able to catch this episode of the Casanova Podcast on all major podcasting outlets, as well as on Twitch exclusively. First, it goes to Twitch first, and then it'll go to YouTube. But you can catch it on, and if you're watching, it's all here. If you're listening, I'll read it out to you. You can catch it on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, TuneIn Radio, iHeartRadio, Pandora. And if you really enjoyed the podcast and you want to support, we have Patreon as well, patreon.com/Mikhail Casanova. And you can catch it on twitch.tv/Mikhail Casanova, as well as on youtube.com/Mikhail Casanova. And if you really enjoyed the show, aside from supporting it, another way you can support if you don't want to do financially, and I really appreciate it, leave a review on Apple Podcasts. If you enjoyed it, just say hi. I'd like. That's it. That's it. You can just do that. It helps. It goes a long way. Yeah. So, with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I hope you take a lot from it. And Jim, definitely got to have you back on the show, man. This has been. I have to say, man, this has been one of the most fun episodes I've had in a long time, and awesome. I sincerely mean that.
That's great to hear, mate.
With that being said, people, this is Jim and I, Backyardis, and myself. We are signing out. You guys have a great one. Hey, did you enjoy this episode of the Casanova Podcast? Well, I'm sure you did. And since you did, and you're wondering where else you can find it on every podcasting outlet. Yes, that includes Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Launchpad DM by Podcast One, and so much more. And the only thing I ask of you is, if you truly enjoyed it, even if you didn't enjoy it, please leave a rating and tell us what you thought of it, what you like, what you didn't like, and everything in between. And also, if you're looking for video formats of this podcast and many more, you'll be able to find them on youtube.com/Mikhail Casanova, as well as on twitch.tv/Mikhail Casanova, and new episodes every single Monday morning, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, that being said, this is Mikhail Casanova, Hawaii's favorite YouTuber. I am signing out. You guys have a great one.